714-436-7900. You can text us, same number, obviously, and then you can leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. There's a little button that you could push, and you can record a message and send it to us. We are streaming live on all of the social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube at KMOX 1120. We have our own Twitter account where you can watch us there, too. It's at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everybody will be talking about.
Well, for the first time in this war after the Russian invasion into Ukraine, Ukraine has launched United States-made long-range missiles back into Russia. We will talk about what the repercussions of that will be.
And everyone has E. coli.
Oh, God, I saw that.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the details,
Ew.
but I've never had so many E. coli.
There was an outbreak here.
There was, and now one mother from Fenton is suing the local catering business as E. coli cases increase to 94 in the area.
Men's national soccer team beat Jamaica at City Park last night, and the Blues will take on the Wild tonight. It is Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. We are with you until 1 o'clock today. We just heard that Will Scharf, St. Louis and Will Scharf is a part of, or going to be part of President-elect Trump's new administration as an assistant to the president. Has he selected an assistant to the traveling secretary yet?
I don't think so.
No.
What about the secretary that doesn't travel?
They all travel. The Interior.
Yeah,
Secretary of the Interior doesn't get to go anywhere.
Travel, and that's Doug Burgum.
Yeah.
That poor guy. He's always at home.
Hey, you just stay up there in the north. It's just
Secretary of the Interior doesn't get to go anywhere.
You're not the Secretary of the Exterior.
That's right. And you're definitely not the traveling secretary.
That's right.
You're the Secretary of the Interior. So stay inside. Take vitamin D. You're going to need it. You're not going to get a lot of sunlight in there.
You really are.
Hey, so E. coli outbreaks here and there, everywhere. We know about the one that was caused by Grimway Farms. Those would be the carrots that, my goodness, so many organic carrot brands, including baby carrots and full-sized carrots. I was really impressed by Costco, who sent Mason Jar a phone call, left a message, say, hey, this is Costco. Our records indicate
It was a robocall, was it? Or was it like a live person?
I didn't hear it because it was his phone.
Okay.
He sent me the transcript.
Okay.
Yeah. But it just said our records indicate that you bought or potentially bought a brand that had potentially contaminated carrots. And so bring them back to the store for a full refund. I think that is awesome. But yeah, I mean, pretty scary. Have you ever had E. coli?
I don't think so. And I really don't want to. But I had a time where I was the sickest I've ever been. And I think that was, the symptoms are similar. So, but I don't think that's what I had. I just think it was, typical food poisoning or stomach, virus or whatever.
Worst fear. The only time I actually got scared about E. coli is this was years ago. I was running in Castlewood Park with a friend, and if you've been to Castlewood Park, obviously there's all these hiking trails. There's a creek. A lot of people play in the creek. The problem is when it rains heavily, the sewer runoff from all the surrounding neighborhoods goes into the creek.
Yeah.
And it becomes contaminated with E. coli. And at any rate, I was running. It had rained recently. I didn't know this. I didn't know the whole E. coli story. My friend threw me into the creek thinking it was hilarious. It was really funny until I got home and it was like, warning, E. coli outbreak. And I just was Googling symptoms, and I think I was super nervous for 2 weeks. I never got sick.
So then you I was going to say, I thought you manifested all the symptoms.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't manifest the symptoms because you can definitely manifest a headache or a stomach ache, but you can't really manifest
the other things.
You
can twist yourself up into knots enough where that happens,
Oh yeah.
But
it's called the nervous blanks. You get them before games.
Scoots? Nervous scoots?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. I get them before marathons, races, hockey games.
I was just
watching. I
think
a lot of athletes get the nervous scoots.
It's funny you say that because I just saw you've probably seen it, but it's a runner, long distance runner. And I don't know where it was, but this was just on Instagram 2 days ago.
I know what you're talking about. And I think it was a triathlete.
Is that what it was?
Oh no, he's a triathlete or ultra runner.
She's
Yeah.
running on the road.
Yep.
And they've got the camera crew in the vehicle next to her, and they're kind of behind her. And she says, "Don't film from behind me because I just pooped myself."
Yeah, and I can't remember if that was a 100-mile runner or
Oh,
a
God.
triathlete. Yeah, I mean, thankfully, knock on wood, that never happened. But you know the E. coli outbreak, not the carrot one, but the one that happened locally
In
at
St. Louis County, yeah.
the Rockwood Summit High School event. It was catered by Andres Banquets and Catering. 94 people have now been either have confirmed or suspected cases of E. coli. That's up from the 69 people who were sick. That was previously reported. But a mother who was at the event, a Fenton mother, is suing the catering business because she said her daughter has been so sick with severe and persistent cramping, malaise, dizziness, continuous diarrhea. Obviously, the diarrhea gets worse and it's not good. And the girl can't keep down food and water. She's lost 7 pounds in a week. And obviously those are all symptoms of E. coli. So she is suing the catering company. But man, it is a really hard place. I think this might be a fear unlocked that's never been relevant for me in the sense that I've never owned a catering company or a restaurant. Yes, as a consumer, I'm afraid of food poisoning. But whether you're McDonald's or a carrot company, you have no idea that those vegetables have been contaminated. It's not the company's fault.
Yeah, and so
you got to buy you're buying organic carrots. You're doing the best you can.
This catering company, the thought is that it's somewhere in the salad that they were serving. That's where the E. coli outbreak came from, and that's what's strange about this, because you typically, when you think about food poisoning, usually we think spoiled meat or something. Right? You think like the chicken's bad or the steak is bad or whatever it is. But a lot of these that we're talking about now are all vegetables. So the lesson here clearly is don't eat vegetables.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, because what happens in these fields, you can have cattle, even birds, anything that is defecating in the fields.
Oh, yeah.
You also have runoff if there are sewer systems or whatever it may be that flood and get into the irrigation systems. But it's important to note that the owner of Andres, the second generation owner of Andres Banquets and Catering, he is 100% pushing back against the suggestions that his food was contaminated. He said, quote, "That outbreak had nothing to do with Andres. It had nothing to do with us. It's a school issue, not an Andres issue. We catered 8,000 people the last 2 weeks with no issues except the Rockwood Summit situation. And they had an event that we did where the students served the food that we dropped off with no gloves on. That's where the issue lies."
He might be right.
So Andres is saying it's so important to note that they're saying, no.
Yeah.
This is not us.
Well, I told you we were talking about this during the Glover Hour yesterday, that a place where I worked, there's a cafeteria, and somebody in the cafeteria had been touching all the plates. Ugh. And I don't know if he didn't clean well. I don't know what happened, but whatever it was, everybody got norovirus, something like 40 or 50 people, and they all left work that day.
You said within hours, right?
Yeah, within 2-3 hours, people were doubled over in their offices. Like, I got to go home. Couple went to the hospital. So it can happen. It may not necessarily be the food that was served. It could be the people serving the food not being clean enough.
Yeah, right. Well, and don't you feel like we've had E. coli stories since was it Longhorn Steakhouse?
That wasn't
in Illinois.
E. coli. It was
a different kind of bacteria.
Oh gosh, I forgot what it's called. I had never heard of it before.
I hadn't either, and
but it was contagious too.
That's what's weird. I mean, it could be from sharing drinks. It could be like a sexually transmitted type situation, which is really weird. But it was a bad bacteria, and that does come from like not washing your hands. And so they have fixed the whole situation. But was that.
There was the McDonald's thing with the onions.
Oh, that's right. I know. That's what I mean. Why does everyone have E. coli?
If you have E. coli, send us a message. Tell us how it's going on the Odyssey app.
And you know what last week was when you were gone? Everybody has pneumonia. Walking pneumonia is everywhere. And here's the thing. I always viewed pneumonia as a kid like this. oh, Aunt Judy's got pneumonia. God willing, she'll be okay. That's who got pneumonia. It was always old people who got sick or in the hospital or had a surgery, and then it turns into pneumonia because they don't move. This is insane what's happening right now. So many young kids are getting pneumonia. It's also very contagious. I know two families with 4 or more kids where the entire family got pneumonia. I've never heard of that before. Even like little babies are being hospitalized, and the CDC is saying there's 10 times the incidence rates of pneumonia right now than normal. So it was pneumonia. Now it's E. coli.
That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. Keep yourself clean.
Wash your hands.
Be careful out there.
This is why we say
be careful. Yeah. Especially when you're using your phone, because your phone is disgusting.
I have Clorox wipes on my phone all the time.
Your mobile phone is one of the more disgusting things in your life.
It's a vector of disease.
It really is. So be careful with that.
Be very careful.
On the show today, Chief Robert Tracy of the St. Louis Police Department is going to join us. He'll stick around for a couple of segments. A lot to talk with him about, including and especially the potential state control of the police department. Missouri wants to take it over. We'll see how he feels about it and moving forward what they do. Bernie Miklas is with us. Jimmy Griffin from El Monstero will be on the show. A lot happening today. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
This Friday night, we're talking about artificial intelligence, its impact on our lives and our society. Listen to our next Odyssey conversation. Artificial Revolution is the future automation. Friday night at 8 p.m. on News Radio 1120, KMOX.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens. We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-221-6319. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-221-6319. 800-221-6319 or oxcarcare.com.
I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry. You can too. Go to youridoc.com.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist?
You don't say.
Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
I had heard about 3-day kitchen and bath. I kind of always dismissed it thinking, well, nobody can do that in 3 days. I wanted somebody who was going to come when they said they would come and, do what they said they were going to do. What I liked best was having it done in, less than a week. The whole thing from top to bottom. Nobody could believe that I really had it done that fast. They absolutely held up to every single thing that they agreed to. I especially loved the fact that I didn't have to go out all over town. The overall quality was very good. All the workmanship was so excellent. They'll definitely do exactly what they say they're going to do. There's no surprises, no added costs later. They stay until everything's exactly the way you want it, and you're done.
Thanks, Lori. Check us out online at 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. Thanks to supporters like you, children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach incredible milestones. Please donate today at treeofhope.org.
From city lights to neighborhood stories, KMOX's local newsroom keeps you informed. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Don't know if you have ever gone to WebMD, Amy. In fact, I know you have. I know you spend the majority of your day Googling symptoms.
Only during the COVID lockdown. I was on WebMD. I was a Captain's Club member of WebMD. And
so,
I will say the two most common diagnoses for me were death and prostate cancer.
Yeah. Well, you don't have prostate cancer.
I know.
You never will get that.
It's a relief.
Here's a new one, though, for you.
Okay.
So we know that artificial intelligence can do a lot for us, and there are a lot of possibilities, some good possibilities, some really exciting stuff, but also there are some dangers involved. And one of the good possibilities that we have talked about in the past that artificial intelligence can bring us is how they can help doctors, medical professionals diagnose ailments that maybe there's something a doctor is missing. They can feed it into AI, and artificial intelligence can sort of help make a diagnosis. Well, one of the artificial intelligence, the chat bots that are out there, we've talked about ChatGPT and OpenAI and all this other stuff. Grok, you've heard of Grok, haven't you?
Yeah, but for those who aren't initiated, Grok is the AI for Twitter, which is X now.
And a couple of weeks ago, it was almost 3 weeks ago now, Elon Musk tweeted out this: try submitting X-ray, PET, MRI, or other medical images to Grok for analysis. This is still early stage, but it is already quite accurate and it'll become extremely good. Let us know where Grok gets it right or needs work. So there are a number of issues here. What Elon Musk is asking people to do, and they have been doing it now for a few weeks, is uploading their CT scans and their MRIs and their X-rays and their medical data into Grok to see what Grok spits back at them. I don't know, man. I have a lot of issues with this. First of all, there's a massive privacy issue, though people, if they choose to do it, then, hey, no one's making you submit your stuff to Grok.
I think, and I'll just note, yes, like that was my first thought. It is throwing out very, very personal health information that may or may not be diagnosed correctly to the public to do whatever with what they will.
Right. The second thing with this that I think is probably more dangerous are the people who don't really know better. And I know you can say, hey, you got to be smart about this, and that's true. But there are a lot of people who might have an ailment of some kind. They do upload their data, their images or whatever into Grok, and whatever diagnosis they get back, they're just going to run with that and say, well, that's what I have, so I'm going to self-treat or whatever. I think there's a real danger there. And I think it's more dangerous even than WebMD is.
So, yeah, I mean, because WebMD is almost, it's not a joke, but using it has almost become a joke because we've all Googled it. And I think, like I said, half the time it's call 911, it's just, you're putting in symptoms. So many symptoms are similar. So many conditions have similar symptoms. So that's to me it's probably irritating to doctors, not quite as dangerous. I do think it's important to note, while these companies haven't advertised this ability, Google's Gemini and OpenAI's ChatGPT can also take people's medical images. So those companies do too. They don't advertise it as much, but people have submitted their medical, x-rays, scans, whatever it may be, to those AI resources as well. With Grok being Twitter, it just feels like you're posting personal information on a message board. And I will say this, devil's advocate, I get what it's like to be burned by a doctor, by the medical community, to not be taken seriously. I get that. There are so many stories about people who are so desperate to find an answer and they keep being dismissed. And my heart breaks for that because I've been there. I have close family members who've been there. So I can see how you'd think it doesn't matter at this point. I'm going to try anything to see if it even gives me a guess that a doctor hasn't guessed yet. Like I wouldn't do it, especially not on Grok. I don't know if the other ones are more private. It still feels out there because you're sending it to a company. But I understand that inclination to do that when you feel you're at a dead end and you're frustrated and you're suffering.
I would certainly not make it my first resort.
Oh, I don't think that's what I mean. I think it's a last resort. That's what.
No question.
It would be a last
No
resort.
question.
And I understand that because I've been there where you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being gaslit. I'm not making up these symptoms.
Yeah, and that's a very rare thing to happen. It does happen. But if you think of all the amount of doctor's visits or, people seeking medical treatment, by and large, overwhelmingly, if a person can be helped, they get that help if they go see a doctor. But I would never just submit all of my data to Grok and say, hey, what's going on with me? And then take that and run with it. But I do fear that people will start to do that more, especially people who are Elon Musk fanboys or fangirls or whatever, who think everything he does is genius and they feel like they can trust him with anything. I trust him with very little. And I've been saying that for years, way before he really got involved in politics.
Twitter feels way more public, but I don't see it as any less trustworthy than Sam Altman, who works with Elon Musk. You know what I mean? I think all of the tech bros going AI.
I don't think they're all
you.
the same. I think Elon's far worse, and I think he has sinister intentions. And I could be wrong about that, but that's how I view him.
More political. I think all of them are guilty until proven innocent in my mind.
Sean Malone, and you could tell us what you think on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Record a message and send it to us, or send us a text at 314-436-7900. But when we come back, Sean Malone will come in from the KMOX newsroom, the Civil Courts building downtown, not too far from where this station is being renamed, and it is a very cool story. And we're going to talk to Sean when he comes in just a moment on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jules on Hampton.
Hey, Megan, have you been seeing a lot of Genesis vehicles on the road lately? Where are they all coming from?
Well, I heard Genesis of St. Charles just had another record month. Their showroom is absolutely amazing, and so are the deals. You have to go in or call to get their exclusive offers. They even have 0% APR financing on all models through the end of November, like the new 2025 Genesis GV80.
Wow. Well, I'm logging on to genesisofstcharles.com now.
At 10:30, we have a sunny sky and 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. Moscow says Ukraine fired 6 American-supplied longer-range missiles at Russia's Bryansk region. The Kremlin's announcement would mark Kyiv's first use of the weapons inside Russia in 1,000 days of war. The reported use of the Army tactical missile system came as Russian President Vladimir Putin formally lowered the threshold for using nuclear weapons. That opens the door to a potential nuclear response by Moscow to even a conventional attack by any nation supported by a nuclear power. A St. Louis County mother is suing a local caterer over an E. coli outbreak tied to 94 local cases, half of which are linked to a Rockwood Summit High School banquet. According to Fox 2, the lawsuit claims a family member suffered severe illness after eating the catered food. Health officials are investigating while the caterer awaits test results and suggests the source may be broader. Checking traffic, a stalled vehicle 270 southbound before Olive. The right shoulder is closed there. Earlier, a stall 70 westbound at 370 had the vehicle on the right shoulder. Our weather forecast, beautiful day, sunny, breezy, high near 70. Cooler tonight with lows in the 40s and some clouds coming in late. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds, but windy and much cooler, a high of 54. It'll be cold on Thursday, windy with a high of only 43 degrees. Currently, it's 60 in Florissant, 60 in St. Peters, sunny and 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. And the weather is sponsored by Metro Transit at MetroLinkGreenLine.com. See how completion of the now 30% designed MetroLink Green Line will get North and South St. Louis to downtown West and Midtown's best job centers in just minutes for the first time ever. I'm Tom Ackerman, KMOX News.
For the past 3 seasons of Gone South, we've covered one story per season. Now, Gone South is back for a 4th season. But this time, we're doing things a little differently. In Gone South Season 4, we'll be bringing you news stories every week with no end in sight. Listen to and follow Gone South, an Odyssey original podcast, on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Police officers and firefighters get in the ring for the 37th Budweiser Guns N' Hoses presented by Stiefel. It's the night before Thanksgiving at the Enterprise Center. Get your tickets now at stlgunsandhoses.com.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. When you want to make junk disappear, leave it where it is. I've got a partner who lives down the street from you, and we're anxious to come to your rescue. It doesn't matter what we have to climb over, walk through, or move out of the way. All you have to do is point.
We make space for possibilities.
We'll find a new family who'll love the items that still have value, even if it is sentimental value.
There's someone out there who will love it, and we'll find them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
You're going to be amazed at how fast we get there.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and unnegotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Bernie Nicholas gets the final word during sports on a Sunday morning. Hear what he has to say on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
As a high school student, he, protested, the segregation of the swimming pool at Fairground Park. At that time, he saw a federal judge rule that the protest could go forward. And Dad decided from that day forward at 18 years old that he wanted to be a federal judge.
That is Randall Cahill. He's the son of Judge Clyde Cahill, a pioneering judge here in Missouri. He was the first Black federal judge for the Eastern District of Missouri, the second Black man to be a judge in the 22nd Circuit. And the Civil Courts building here on North Tucker Boulevard is going to be named in his honor. We welcome into the studio KMOX reporter Sean Malone. I heard your story, Sean, this morning, and it stopped me in my tracks. I was like getting ready, in the bathroom, and it was so moving to hear about what a pioneer, what a courageous man Judge Clyde Cahill was. And so I wanted to hear the story from you. So thank you for coming in.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So what do people maybe need to know? I didn't even know they were going to rename the Civil Courts building on North Tucker Boulevard. So how did this get started, and why is it being named for Clyde Cahill?
So if I remember, it actually started with the Board of Aldermen. And if I remember correctly, it's Alderman Rasheed Aldridge's bill, and someone, I don't know if it was him or someone told him, but it kind of just came around that like, hey, the Civil Courts building doesn't have a name. Like the Carnahan Courthouse obviously has the name Carnahan to it, but it's just the Civil Courts building. And so they wanted to figure out, okay, let's see if we can name it after someone. And eventually they, so I don't know how exactly they came to it, but they settled on Clyde S. Cahill, the former federal judge, as you mentioned, and just a really incredible story that he's had to become a judge, but then also the lasting impact that he had on a judge as well that was kind of touched on in the story. Really was, it was cool to hear from the current judge, Judge Mason, but also his son, Randall Cahill, tell his story as well.
Yeah, it's a very cool story that they're going to honor somebody in this way. How close is it to actually? Is it done?
I don't know when it's happening. Basically, all that needs to make it official is a signature from the mayor, because when this idea came about of how to rename the building, no one really knew exactly what the process for that was, of renaming a courthouse. And so the city's attorneys got together with the attorneys for all the judges in the court, in the circuit, and kind of just decided like, okay, I guess if we're just all on the same page with renaming it, then it's okay. Because it's one of those, the city owns the building. So does the city have the only say? So everyone was kind of like, okay, can we all just agree to name it after Clyde S. Cahill? And then nobody's going to turn around and complain and say, wait, it shouldn't be named because this person should have a say.
So that's what I was going to ask you is, how how are when it's time to rename something. There's always somebody who has an objection to what the suggestion is. So is there any of that?
Not that I've seen or heard. And that's kind of what this resolution from the judges that was decided yesterday was to affirm, that all parties involved, the mayor still has to sign the bill from Alderman Aldridge. I haven't seen any indication that she won't. I think it's just a matter of it just hasn't happened yet. But other than that, the Board of Aldermen voted unanimously on it. The judges yesterday voted unanimously on a resolution to agree to rename it after Clyde S. Cahill. So, they, like I said, their attorneys all got together and just kind of agreed of like, all right, if, there's no official way to do this, but this seems like the best path forward. If we all agree that it should be named after Clyde S. Cahill, it'll be renamed after former judge, the Honorable Clyde S. Cahill.
And it was such a great story, just going back to his youth, being born in St. Louis, went to Vashon High School, got into Harvard University, but couldn't afford the $600.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
He had a scholarship to go to Harvard. And, hearing that back, I wish I did follow up. Is that $600 just like to get from St. Louis to Boston to go to Harvard? Was it just a matter of like, that was what was left in tuition after the scholarship? But I mean, he graduated top of his class from Vashon and just could not get to Harvard, could not pay that $600, wound up joining the military instead, joined the army and was I don't want to say fought in World War II. I don't know exactly what his role was other than he was a pilot and trained pilots. But again, I don't know if he was just training, and I don't want to say that he fought and misspeak potentially. But then he came back and then made history again by becoming one of the first Black students at SLU Law.
And that was really interesting too. St. Louis University went to SLU Law. And I don't know if it was his son who was, or someone else that you were interviewing in the story, that said it was the Catholic Church that kind of helped pioneer desegregation in St. Louis.
That's what he said. Yeah, it was his son, Randall Cahill, who said that. So that I thought was interesting too, is that, he was on like the cutting edge of desegregation in St. Louis at higher education, especially, being only the second black student to go to St. Louis University for law school. That's pretty incredible.
Really incredible.
Yeah, it's such a cool story. He was finally confirmed in 1980 by President Carter.
Yep.
And that's we're talking
served
about
until his death in 2004.
Yeah, I mean
Wow.
that's the kind of thing that you can do it until you can't do anything anymore. And a lot of people don't want to retire when they have a job like that because that's all they know. That is them. That's in them. It's
and that's kind of the best way, I think, to summarize his legal career, both as when he practiced privately, but also as a judge as well. And even beforehand, talked about how he was a member of protesting segregation when he was a youth, and that kind of inspired him to want to become a judge. And then he was fighting against segregation as an attorney in Missouri, and the story that his son Randall told about how he had to hide in the trunk of a car to avoid people that were, trying to get him because he was fighting against segregation as an attorney and wanted to avoid being tarred and feathered. And, all the way up to when he was a judge, probably the most iconic impact that he had was this opinion that he wrote, a 41 page opinion, give or take, about the difference in law and punishment between whether cocaine was crack cocaine or powdered cocaine, which, there was a racial impact with that. And, in terms of the sentences that people were receiving. And he had an opinion against that kind of set things in motion for, undoing a lot of over punishment, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't know what the technical term would be at that point. Improper punishment.
And that was something that was new to me in the story. I didn't know that there was, ultimately, like you said, what would be determined as prejudiced punishment between powdered cocaine and crack cocaine because of the implication that, okay, well, if you're powdered cocaine, are you wealthier? Yeah, crack
and
is
it's
cheaper.
poor people who use it.
And that he was able to fight that, and that's something like you only know if you're in it, if you've seen it firsthand.
You think about it, it's kind of like if there was a difference in whether or not your open container law violation was a can or a bottle. It's the same substance at the end of the day, and the impact has lasted throughout. And even Judge David C. Mason, who brought the resolution in front of the rest of the judges, he was excited about it, and he got quite emotional when talking about the lasting impact that Judge Cahill had on him.
From college until the day he passed, to improving the plight of citizens in our region, in our country, particularly those citizens who, quite frankly, had no power and had no voice. And that's why this day means such a lot to me. I had a chance to be a young lawyer in front of him. I had a chance to be mentored by him and get to know him personally. And this means a lot.
Yeah, David Mason getting choked up there was it was a neat moment in the sense you could really see and feel how much Judge Cahill meant to him. This was my first time getting a chance to meet him yesterday, and very big personality, very happy-go-lucky kind of guy. So to feel those raw emotions from him, that it goes to show just how much Judge Cahill meant to him, to St. Louis at large, and really, like the civil rights movement as well, and the work that he did, like we talked about, with prejudiced sentences based on things like whether or not cocaine was powdered or it was crack cocaine.
Yeah, and I was saying he also represented protesters who were challenging racist lending practices that banks would be involved in, and he also filed the first lawsuit to enforce the 1954 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that outlawed school segregation in Missouri.
Yeah, and you can't really think of, if they're going to rename an entire courthouse, it's very difficult to find a better name. Born here, died here, went to law school here, and everything he did. It's
a true son of
perfect.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, we don't really know when.
No, I don't know
this
when
is all
officially it's going to
happen.
change. I know the mayor still needs to sign it, but I imagine there's going to be some kind of a ceremony to honor the name change when it does become the Clyde S. Cahill Courthouse.
Anything you're working on right now you want us to know about, or is it top secret?
Couple things that I'm working on. Just keep your ear out. We got some things coming today.
Oh.
Okay. Wow.
Was it rhyme with?
Yeah.
You're going to ask me to try to rhyme? Listen, there's a reason why I'm talking on this station and not rapping on one of the stations down the hall.
Does it rhyme with Lord of Alderman?
There's a tie. There's a tie-in with that. We'll see.
Sean Malone, you're the best. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That is Sean Malone from the KMOX newsroom. So listen out for his report on the Cahill Courthouse and on whatever else he's working on.
And I'll just say this too, if you want to hear, the original story as well, Total Information AM on the Odyssey app, you can go back and listen to the radio, anything that you missed this morning. You can also get the podcast there. So the Odyssey app literally makes all of KMOX audio available to you.
And you don't need your eyes to listen to the Odyssey app, but you will to read the story. If you want to read the story later on KMOX.com, you'll need to be able to look at it. And in order to do that, you need to go to Ophthalmology Associates and get your eyes examined, because it's time. If you haven't done it yet, why wouldn't you do it right now? The leaves are changing. They're about done changing. You're about to miss them. So at Ophthalmology Associates, they do, if you have health insurance, in a lot of cases, that will cover your annual eye exam. So you want to look into it. And they are awesome at Ophthalmology Associates. They are the doctor's doctors. That means doctors here in St. Louis go there to get their eyes examined. And they will see one of the terrific doctors like Ranjan Malhotra. That's my guy. Greg Birdie. Robert Brasati, Andy Royer, or Samuel Berry, they are all there for you. Make your appointment by calling them at 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
The Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for our holiday food drive. The show will be out at Hardee's in St. Peter's on Friday, starting at 1 p.m. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. The Dave Glover Show, live at Hardee's in St. Peter's. Get all the details about the campaign, or to make an online donation, head to the KMOX.com events page now.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Don't you deserve healthcare you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Missouri, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
St. Louis City SC and Enterprise Mobility are celebrating individuals who uplift the region. Nominate a deserving person to be the 2025 Enterprise Exceptional Neighbor. Honorees will receive 4 tickets to a St. Louis City SC home match next season, and their work will be featured during the match. Nominations close November 30th. So visit stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor to nominate a friend, coworker, or neighbor who is doing incredible work in our community.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the GelmanTeam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at the GelmanTeam.com.
At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
I'm Andrew Stoles, and this is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Ron, I don't know if you watched the Monday Night Football game.
So I missed most of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, before the game at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, home of the Cowboys, a huge piece of sheet metal
I did see
fell off
I
the
did
roof
see
onto the ground below. So they stopped opening the roof, and fortunately, it fell off early enough that there weren't a ton of people in the stadium, just workers, and no one who was working was hurt. So that is very good. But there were members of the media at the stadium at the time that were able to get pictures of the giant piece of metal. And I couldn't find the audio from Joe Buck until just now, which I think we'll play later. But it's really funny because you have the Monday Night Football music and all the drama. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. It's like, good evening, it's Monday Night Football. And the roof is open for the first time for a Cowboys game in over 2 calendar years. Oh, they closed it. So we'll get this. It's pretty funny to listen to.
That is 2 years they hadn't opened that roof, and they finally did. Now they need to put the blinds up so the players don't get blinded when the football comes at them and they're in the end zone and the sun blinds them, because that's what big. By the way, real quick stupidity by Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys. If you have not been following along, for years, players have privately been complaining that there's this one side of the stadium has a glass windows.
Okay.
And the sun at the time of day they play shines directly into it.
I've seen
and
that.
And it's getting in players' eyes, and they're missing kicks and they're missing catches. And Jerry Jones absolutely refuses to do anything about it.
Is that
He's basically telling all the players to suck it up.
To deal with it? Didn't they concoct a shade?
They have one they use for concerts. And they did it for the boxing match, the Tyson-Paul fight.
Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay, here we go. Here's Monday Night Football.
Still the best way to start a broadcast, no doubt about it. The roof is open for the first time for a Cowboys game in over 2 calendar years. Oh, they closed it. Mike McCarthy, 61.
That is, look, and that sheet metal or whatever it was that fell, that could have really, really hurt somebody.
Oh, Ron, it's huge.
Would have killed somebody, probably. So, Amy, did you see that? Well, you know that for years, people have been warning against the fact that we've been fishing too much.
Fishing for fish?
Yes, fish.
Oh.
Been fishing too much, and that we're depleting all the oceans and the waters of fish.
Like commercial fishermen.
I guess. Well, apparently that number is down.
Oh.
A report from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says that in the 50 states, all 50 states, the catching of fish fell 2.6%. from year to year.
Why is
which
that?
means we are catching less fish.
Is it the fish are getting smarter?
No, it's not. The fish are not getting smarter. They don't have feelings, and they don't get smarter. It's because people, or at least the.
Sorry.
Hey, I've seen that before. That's how we lost Todd.
Yeah.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
Their assessment is people are diversifying their palates, so they're not eating as much fish as they used to.
That's interesting because I think eating fish is how I diversify my palate.
Me too.
Yeah. That's the palate diversity is like eating fish. Because you don't always eat fish. You eat chicken, you eat hamburgers.
I do love fish.
I eat a lot of grains. So fish, I'm like, look at this. Interesting. Hey, Ranj, I have a good friend, several good friends, but from India. They go back and visit their family all the time. They're in my running group. And they say, oh my gosh, when we're in India, you really can't run outside in New Delhi. The smog is so bad. And believe it or not, Jonah Goldberg, of the Dispatch, he's in New Delhi right now. And he was talking on his podcast about
I went to a New Delhi the other day.
Was it good? Yeah. and he was talking about his podcast. He goes, you won't believe the smog. You won't believe it. Well, air pollution in New Delhi soared to 50 times the WHO's recommended safe limit. They declared a medical emergency. They shut down all construction. They closed schools because of the heavy toxic smog that has enveloped India's capital and surrounding areas. So about 55 million people are affected by this. There was smog as a result of multiple factors, but the primary cause is that farmers are burning their crop residue. That's blowing into the city, and it's getting trapped there. And they said, you can't see streetlights.
Oh, boy.
The smog is so bad.
That's not good.
I cannot imagine that.
Amy, how mad would you be if you accidentally threw away $633 million?
I would not be able to keep living. Probably. My heart would stop.
39-year-old James Howell out of England accidentally threw away a hard drive which contained 8,000 Bitcoins. And of course, you can't recover it once you throw it away. Like if you lose your password to get to your Bitcoins that are encrypted, that's it. There's nothing you can do. There's no backup plan. There's no nothing. Anyway, he accidentally threw it away. He's trying to retrieve it from the landfill where he believes it is. And he had these Bitcoins from the beginning of crypto. 630. So 500 pounds, $633 million American dollars.
I actually feel like throwing up.
I would throw up.
Oh my gosh, I think I would throw up because I feel like it now.
Oh God. I couldn't even, I don't think I could be able to live with myself.
Oh my God.
So as you know, Governor-elect Mike Kehoe wants the state of Missouri to assume control of the St. Louis Police Department. We're going to talk about that with the police chief here in St. Louis, Robert Tracy, and some other things. He is in studio with us next. Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Running a small business takes endurance, determination, and the right support to reach your goals. And MasterCard is here to help fuel that journey in a fast-paced digital world. With innovative tools and resources, we're here to guide businesses every step of the way digitally. Because when small business wins, everyone wins. Let's power up our communities one small business and one step at a time. Keeping the community running strong, priceless.
Hey, it's Brady Cook, quarterback at Mizzou. I'm all for Macadoodle's Garden Prairie. We've got a world-class selection of fine wine, beer, and spirits. We've got a drive-thru, and we've got the friendliest customer service in town. Make sure you stop into Macadoodle's before every big game to stock up on bourbon, beer, and seltzer. While you're there, pick up a bottle or two from Macadoodle's world-class wine cellar. Macadoodle's is Missouri. Macadoodle's is fun. Come visit us on Bryan Road, just north of the Page Extension, St. Charles County.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan Silver Dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan Silver Dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3871 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan Silver Dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3871.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office.
But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office,
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
At 11 o'clock, we have sunny skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Superpower tensions rising over the war in Ukraine.
1,000 days after Russia invaded Ukraine, 2 days after President Biden granted Ukraine's wish to fire U.S.-supplied long-range missiles into Russia, President Vladimir Putin has lowered the nuclear threshold, saying Russia could be prepared to pull the nuclear trigger in response to an act of conventional warfare that's supported by a nuclear power. The White House has just slammed what it calls Russia's irresponsible rhetoric. CBS News can confirm that Ukraine has now fired U.S.-made Attacker missiles into Russia. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
The UN says that a convoy of aid in Gaza was violently looted. President Biden has asked Israel to do more to make sure badly needed aid gets to residents in Gaza. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer explains.
We haven't heard a response from the IDF today, but clearly this issue is getting more and more attention, and that's going to put them under some more pressure to do something, although it's so dangerous in there. Some of the agencies have described the situation as anarchy. And of course, there's an enormous potential for a lot of people to get hurt or killed, either defending the aid or trying to steal it.
President-elect Trump says he's naming former Wisconsin Congressman and Fox Business host Sean Duffy to be Transportation Secretary. Duffy served in the House for nearly 9 years, was a member of the Financial Services Committee, and was chairman of the Subcommittee on Insurance and Housing. Missouri Congressman Sam Graves had been in talks with the Trump transition team about the possibility of serving as Transportation Secretary.
I'm just deeply honored that I'll get to be I'll get to do the work come January.
Clayton Attorney Will Scharf speaking with our sister station KFTK about his new role in the Trump administration as White House staff secretary and assistant to the president.
I'm looking to build a great team of people who can get the job done and make sure the president's well equipped to go out and do the things he has to do in terms of information, in terms of message flow, in terms of getting the right people and the right documents in front of him at the right time.
Scharf worked for Trump's legal team, including the presidential immunity case. He recently lost a bid to challenge Andrew Bailey for Missouri Attorney General. There's an open house meeting tonight about the Future 64 road project. MoDOT will be showing the recommended concept for 64 improvements between Kings Highway and Jefferson in the city. The meeting will be at 18 Rails, a venue inside City Foundry from 4 until 7. Again, that's today. From the KMOX Business Desk, the holidays fast approaching. That also means kids are making their toy wish lists. CBS News correspondent Michael George has more on some of the hottest toys this year.
Marissa Silva with the Toy Insider gave us the inside scoop on what toys are already flying off the shelves, starting with a viral hit on TikTok.
This is the color
Wonder Magic Light Brush from Crayola.
What makes it magic? It only colors on this special paper, so no mess.
It works just like a regular paintbrush.
Absolutely, yeah, but
there's
mess.
no paints.
Yes, which parents will really appreciate.
Another toy on many wish lists, Ms. Rachel.
Hi, friend.
A doll selling for $30, modeled after the YouTube sensation.
It's a little horse.
The Speak and Sing Miss Rachel doll.
VR goggles to step into my secret lab.
Bill Nye's Chemistry Lab, also selling for $30, turns a smartphone into VR goggles.
Kids can learn the basic building blocks of chemistry.
Hatchimals, a top toy seller year after year, is offering this $70 Alive Surprise Mystery Hatch. But if you're looking for something on a smaller budget, Barbie is back, and much smaller.
When you twist it up and you pop off the top, you get little Barbie and Ken dolls.
Wow.
Criminals try to capitalize on toys this time of year by selling knockoffs, and experts say it's important to only buy toys from trusted retailers and distributors. Checking the Dow from Stifel this hour, down 152 points at 43,237. The S&P 500 up 5 points at 5,898. The weather now, sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and quite nice this afternoon. High 70. Tonight, clear early, some clouds late, down to 40 in some suburbs, 46 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sunshine, some clouds, windy, and much cooler, high 54. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sunny skies, 64 in Florissant, 62 in St. Peter's, 65 downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Presets when you're in the car. 98.7 FM near the city and 1120 AM further out. 2 buttons for KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
We're, almost 350 officers down. And I think the model, the under state control, worked better. Not everybody gets exactly what they want, but I believe the business community and certainly the men and ladies in the police department believe that's a better model. And those are folks I think have a pretty good handle on what it takes to get public safety to a better level. And certainly they're people that I pay close attention to.
That is Governor-elect Mike Kehoe, who will assume office of the governor of the state of Missouri in January. It is the Chris and Amy Show here on KMOX, and we welcome in Chief Robert Tracy of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, who is with us now and has been on the job for some time now. How you doing? Good to see you, Chief.
Chris, Amy, thank you for having me back. We're doing well. I mean, we're making progress. So always want to do better, always progress, trying to make sure that we're getting everything right in the city, trying to get to where we need to be. And these men and women of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department are doing a tremendous job with the community, with so many other people and the support. So this city has so much going for it. And the men and women, I'm so proud of the work that they're doing.
So I want to ask you about them because you heard the governor-elect say that that the men and women who are in the St. Louis Police Department now, that's what they want, that they want the state to assume control of their department. Do you believe that to be true?
Well, I know the Police Officers Association, the representatives, they've been testifying down in Jeff City when I've been down there. They've been asking for state control. So I don't know. Yeah, they represent a whole membership. So I don't know if everyone wants it, but I certainly know that they're doing the right thing for their membership. And that's what they've taken a survey. And this is some of the things they want, going back to the way it used to be over 10 years ago.
And it's interesting because I know when people are frustrated with crime sometimes, or frustrated with any issue, you're like, well, I just want to change. Let's just change something. But it's kind of a complicated issue. And I've had friends on both sides of the political spectrum. And let's say a conservative friend who said, I don't know what to do. I'm frustrated with crime, but also I believe in local government and keeping things small and keeping things local. And so how would you describe the situation with a state takeover versus local control of the police force? Because I think there are a lot of people who maybe don't know how they feel about it. And maybe if they are supporting state takeover, maybe some people feel that because it's just frustration. Well,
we have to make sure we're not conflating the issues. We're certainly coming out of a pandemic. We're coming out of civil disobedience disruptions after protests after the George Floyd murder up in Minneapolis. So a lot of cities are hurting. A lot of industries are hurting. Even police departments, where across the nation, it's one of the most critical issues about hiring police officers. You can give 75,000, 50,000, 45,000, 35,000 signing bonuses, which I've seen across the United States, and they're still not filling their ranks. So there's an issue of people getting people back into this noble profession. And because of that, this is not a St. Louis issue. This is a nationwide issue that we're all going through. We've got to make sure that that's not part of it. Crime did spike as far as when it came to homicides in 2020. But since that time, under Mayor Tashura Jones' leadership, it went down to 220 in 2021. It went down to 200 in 2021, 200 in 2022. Went down the first year of the leadership that I'm here working with the men and women, went down to 158, and there was some delayed fatals. It went back up to delayed fatals and went to 160. And then this year, we're actually underneath what we were last year, which was a 10-year low. So these are the top of things. And if you can give me an opportunity to explain it, I would really like to set the table, what I've seen coming in from an outsider, and some of the concerns, especially with the union, with some of the state legislatures, and some of the concerns of people that want local control and also want state control. And if I can just set the table, I don't want to take too much time on your interview, but there is things that can be said that maybe I could set the table for people can have a better understanding of what might be happening. So
of course,
absolutely,
yeah, go right ahead.
It's
Yeah.
your
Floor is yours.
it's your show. So I was sworn in on December of 2022. I mean, I get announced. I start January 9th. Within my first week, I'm down before the Transportation and Safety Committee of the Senate leaders, and they want to talk about state control versus local control, and they want to set up a bill to try to make that happen. Some of the things that I heard was morale, pay, a police chief not allowed to do his job in the system under local control, officers not being backed, arrests not being acknowledged. There were so many things that were happening. And, you know, the thing I asked one of the state legislators, they said, so you come down here every year and you tell us the same thing, you're going to do things, but things don't get better. I said, well, the homicides did come down. And I said, and the one big thing Mayor Tashura Jones did is that she hired outside eyes, myself, to take a look at this to see if some of the things and the concerns that are real, can we address together? And so you hire a person with over a 200-year history to come in that I have a little bit of a proven track record from where I've been in the past under local control. But the one thing I needed was the support from the mayor who was hiring me. And one thing I did testify, I say, I've been a chief before. I'm not looking for the title. I'm coming here to make a difference. What I needed back from the administration and the mayor was an ability to do the job and try to keep politics out as we work with these officers and we work with the community to try to make things better. So I am in charge of this police department. I do make those decisions, but the mayor holds me accountable, as she should. Give me the tools to get the job done and then hold me accountable. Having one person that I answer to that answers to the electorate, she actually now is now responsible to what happens in crime, where I think when you're under state and local control, you have 5 commissioners appointed by a governor. Who's in charge of the crime other than the chief, but who has the ultimate responsibility?
So is that you have not ever worked under state control before in any of the departments you've been in, but you've seen how it happens. What are, other than what you're talking about with the separate commissioners, what are the difficulties, in your opinion, of the state having control of a police department as opposed to it being local?
I'm not sure how that would work. See, here's the thing. I only know local control. I can only see from afar. There's only one place in the United States, and it's in the same state. It's in Kansas City. I don't know how it works. I also know that, as the mayor and other people would point out, is that Kansas City is having some of the same issues that we are in St. Louis. And so therefore, how much is state control going to make it any better where we've had progress? And those points I wanted to hit on was with pay. So we brought the officers back to the table, asked them to come back to the table, and the mayor gave a historic raise to make us competitive. That's retention and recruitment to make us competitive. Right now, we have an economic reopen with the union. So we're sitting down at the table right now, seeing exactly how much we can get raises to these officers. That's under negotiations. I can't really talk too much about it, but we are in negotiations on an economic reopener. We walked into a place where people will talk about the cars and the equipment were just not good because under state control it was. They have brand new cars. If you look at those cars out there, if we can make sure that we're driving them correctly, if we could make sure
and not
that
crashing into church signs
and making sure that, listen, we train them and it's sad when they do have these accidents, but we got to make sure this is not the first police department I go through where we do have vehicle accidents. But they have new cars. The officers have take-home cars now. That was part of the agreement. They're getting new cars. Equipment's coming in. These are things when I come in, let's take a look at these things. Take a look at the crime. Right now, I talked about a 16% reduction in overall crime citywide, Part 1 UCR crimes. From 2 years ago, downtown, where we are right now, is down 52% in Part 1 crimes. Downtown West, where we just saw an amazing event last night and crowds that were just warmed my heart last night when I was going around doing patrol and having the Polar Express. You put that many people together, when people say this is a ghost town, I'm going to tell you right now, go take a look at last night on a Monday night. It's down 42% from 2 years ago. And these things that I'm telling you right now, just go to the website, slmpd.org/stats. I put the numbers out there. I'm not going to let people see them for themselves. And then crime view mapping we put out there. I wanted to make sure we're as transparent as possible so people can see the crimes that happen out in their block, even the day of or the day after, as soon as it goes into the system. So crime. And then you talk about, we might be conflating a couple other issues. We had 6 years of a former circuit attorney, prosecutor, that certainly, if it was the pandemic or other things, people were not being charged. 6,700 cases when I walked through the door were taken under advisement. So you know what that means? We make the arrests, our officers go out and do their job, and the person's released within 24 hours because we have to if they're not charged. These are the type of things now with a new circuit attorney, the warrant office is open, the officers were charging everyone, and the ones that were not charged for their crimes before, when we can make sure we can still have a good case, we go back and hold them accountable to their former crimes, that they're not just getting away with that. And these are the things happening with the circuit attorney. On the state, we take a look at state control. Sometimes people might be conflating the issues that there was a list the last 6 years. So officers would put it on a subjective list. It's not a Brady list, that they couldn't testify or make arrests where there was no due process. I've never seen anything like that. And those are some of the things I was going to work on with the former circuit attorney, but we have worked on with the new circuit attorney. And those things are now brought back into what best practices are through across the United States. And then there was also there's officer-involved shootings or use of force. Although we'll take a good look at it, if they're found to be justifiable, then at a certain point in a reasonable amount of time, the circuit attorney, state's attorney, DA, have to sign off on those things. They were holding those for 6-7 years over officers' heads who were back on patrol. And therefore, why are we keeping them open when they should be closed? Let those officers, they did their job, they did it right, but you're not going to let them have closure. That's why a lot of officers were leaving. One was pay, one was worried about civil liability, criminal liability. All those things would not have changed under state control, but these are the things that we're changing now, or making sure that these officers are in a better place. And 25 officers have come back from other jurisdictions that left us, have come back, and I've sworn them back in. And I possibly, at the end of this week, have 3 more officers that left our department are coming back. And I can get into things. I know I went on a little bit of a roll, but I can get into some things about what we're doing about recruitment and how many officers are starting to come back.
So what you're talking about is about morale. Can you see objectively that the morale has improved among the rank and file, or is that something you're able to measure?
It's when you talked about quantifying or qualifying morale, it's such a dynamic issue. But when people are coming back that left this jurisdiction, the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, whether it was for economics, whether it was for those other factors I talked about, if morale was as bad as it might have been, the morale was down when I walked through the door. But if it stayed that way, they would not be coming back. So there's one measurement of that. And then the officers going out and making an arrest and find that the work that they're doing is being validated and bad guys are being held accountable, that builds morale as well. And some of the things, and even tonight, I'm going to be doing a promotion ceremony. We're having promotions. We're bringing people in. The leadership, I'm trying to get the leadership aligned for the future, training everyone to take my job. And of course, I always talk about a CompStat methodology that I brought in from other places that really help these officers define what their roles are. And we're starting to see the fruits of that labor. listen, crime might be up sometimes, but overall, you look at where it is at the end of the year. You measure it in longer increments, and those are the type of things that we're seeing.
St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy in studio with us. A few more minutes with him. We will come back and do that. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. Find the best deals on the Hardee's app. Items available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
This is a test of the emergency alert system.
Breaking news. In 2025, Social Security will increase 2.5%. But what does that mean for your retirement wallet? Now for the tough questions. When and how should you claim your Social Security? How does it fit in with your financial future? There are several claiming options, and you don't want to leave money on the table. That's why it's important to work with a professional like Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group. Join Steve for an exclusive Social Security presentation at the Stone Summit on Tuesday, December 3rd or Thursday, December 5th. This event is complimentary, but you do need to reserve your spot today. Call 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. All Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan silver dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan silver dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3871 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan silver dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3871.
Did you know that now is the best time to top dress your lawn? St. Louis Composting has compost specifically created for top dressing. To learn more, visit stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
Rich Orris hosts the Kingdom OX Home Improvement Show, presented by Mosby Building Arts. Saturday at 11 on the Voice of St. Louis, Kingdom OX.
We are continuing our conversation with St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy. And Chief Tracy, you were talking about some of the progress you've made regarding getting new officers, getting some officers back. And where are we with that exactly? Maybe some numbers for people, new officers that are joining the police force and how those numbers are growing.
Well, we're still losing a little bit to natural attrition. Before, we were losing people just leaving the profession altogether because of what's happened in the last few years and somewhat of the rhetoric that's been out about our profession, which is just very unfair. It's a noble profession. And somehow people were able to take a narrative and dissuade other people from coming in. That is now coming back. This is a noble profession. We do it as a life of servitude to help people that need us the most. And officers were leaving the profession altogether. They were leaving before they had 20-year pension. This was happening across the United States. That's not happening. We're losing people because they have 20 years and it's their right to retire. I left the NYPD almost after 24 years and I went on to do other things. And here I am in St. Louis. And so you can do things like that. When I started, it was close to about 990, and that's including recruits in the academy. And it was going down a couple hundred each year. I'm almost on the 2-year mark. We're around 900 right now. That number's dynamic. I can lose an officer today. I could swear one back in. So those numbers are approximate right now. I didn't look at the report this morning. So those numbers are coming out. We just, we're graduating on Thursday, 10 more officers. We put 25 officers in the academy 6 weeks ago. We have some in the hopper. I'm hoping to have at least 30. Things can change, but at least 30. I'm being very conservative on the number on December 15th. We have a date that we're looking to put people in. But we also went on a campaign. We've changed our strategies with the Department of Personnel, where although they have to look at things because civil service rules and have to have the hiring process, but it doesn't mean that we can't take some of that off their plate and they still supervise us. Department of Personnel can have 50 departments. How do they prioritize us as the police department? I know who will prioritize us. If you let me call these people right away, give us the list of the people that are applying, and then through the application process, we're calling the day that they apply. We're capturing the system. We're getting the testing process because they've applied to 10, 12 other police departments. We were getting beat because we were lagging behind these other places, and we're showing we care about you. We come on in. We're going to talk to you. We'll help them through. We'll train them and help them to succeed. So some people are just not meant to be police officers, and that's okay. But the ones that we do, we got to help them get in. And then through the recruitment campaign, where you saw billboards up, you saw us doing youth academies. We're going into the schools. We have a recruitment team that's out there. I think we had well over 200 applicants came in. And I said, applicants, you got to take that around 20-30% actually become police officers out of that. But you have to have a large number to get to the point where we are. And we continue to just keep pushing that. And then instead of waiting every 6 months to have a police academy, I don't want these individuals waiting because someone else might start a police academy and then they'll go to that because they need a job. What we do is if you saw, I said 6 weeks ago, I put an academy in, I'm putting one on December 15th. And as soon as I get the numbers up, I'll put one in January or February as soon as possible and keep rotating them through to try to get people into the system and get help to the officers that are doing a phenomenal, tremendous job, as we're all understaffed in the United States and we're understaffed in the city of St. Louis. And these officers, we're asking them to do this job. And I'm so proud how resilient they are and to be able to follow a program and still able to reduce crime and serve our community.
You feel like you're on the way to getting where you need to be in terms of the numbers. How soon, if you have a timeline of when you think you'll reach that goal?
If I had a bus of 300 people that just pulled up in the back and they were qualified, I'd start an academy of 300 right now. So that kind of is giving you a hint on where the number is where I'd like to be. Our budget strength is 1225. When I told you we're at about 900. We do the math. It's a little over 300. Would love to have that right now. If I could do it, if I had the qualified candidates, I would start that and get us back up to budgeted strength as soon as possible. But it takes 18 months to get a police officer on the street, really to work by themselves when they're finally off probation. So it's something when I came in 2 years ago, within 2 months, everybody asked me, Chief, what are you doing about the officers? I said, even me walking through the door, even if I started a class today, it would take 18 months for me to have any type of effect. And we're at the 18-month. what are we doing right now? It has to be a continuous process, and that process was broken because of the pandemic.
So if anybody's listening, knows somebody, maybe they themselves want a career in policing, or just a suggestion to somebody they know, slmpd.org.
slmpd.org. And when you go on the website, recruitment, and then we'll steer you to a site. And we just revamped our website, and through the work of our website was 15 years old. And now we've made it more user friendly. There's more information on this where you can find it. It's more transparent. And then with the gentleman that's sitting next to me, Mitch McCoy, who we stole from Fox 2 News, he's able to get on there and really tell our story of getting stuff out that we're challenged and we need to work on, and the crime that's happening, but also some of the great things that these men and women are doing. And then recruitment's part of that. And I think that's helping us and really highlighting the good things that happen in our department and the opportunities if you come to this department, what you can do. It's not, smaller departments can't do the things that we can do with the specialized units and the type of things in a big city that we have.
Again, the website is slmpd.org. Chief Robert Tracy of the St. Louis Police Department, we appreciate you coming in again. Thank you for talking with us today.
Chris and Amy, thank you very much.
It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
Broadcasting from the Underlined Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. At 11:30, we have sunny skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell went before Congress in the investigation into allegations that hurricane assistance was denied to some Trump supporters. A FEMA employee has been fired after allegedly telling workers to skip homes with Trump signs.
I do not believe that this employee's actions are indicative of any widespread cultural problems at FEMA. FEMA, however, has taken appropriate action to ensure that this matter is fully investigated. And I am committed to ensuring that nothing like this ever happens again.
CBS News has learned an unknown and unauthorized third party has gained access to 24 depositions of witnesses tied to investigations into Matt Gaetz, the Trump pick for Attorney General. CBS's Scott MacFarlane at the Capitol says it comes amid an unrelated House ethics report.
Democrats in that panel have been saying unequivocally they think this should be in the hands of U.S. senators. That senators should review what they have on Matt Gaetz before deciding whether or not to confirm him as the nation's top law enforcement officer. Talking to U.S. senators today, it's become clear they seem to be already frustrated and fatigued with the questions.
Check the forecast now, sponsored by Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Mostly sunny, breezy, pleasant, high near 70. Cooler tonight, clear early with lows ranging from 40 in some suburbs to 46 downtown. Then tomorrow, more sun than clouds, increasingly windy and cooler, high 54. Right now, sunny skies, 65 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Sell your home with trust, confidence, and written guarantees. Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty is St. Louis's real estate expert. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-481-4455. 800-481-4455. That's 800-481-4455.
Ooh, ma.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Our goal at Neovitin is to make supporting your nutrition as easy as possible. That's why we created the Neovitin monthly subscription. Just go to neovitin.com, choose your multivitamin, sign up, and we will do the rest. You'll receive your Neovitin multivitamin every month with no long-term obligation. You can pause or cancel at any time, and shipping is free. Each Neovitin multivitamin includes our physician-formulated proprietary blend for nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Start supporting your nutrition the easy way with Neovitin multivitamins. Sign up for a Neovitin subscription today at neovitin.com.
Hey, Megan, have you been seeing a lot of Genesis vehicles on the road lately? Where are they all coming from?
Well, I heard Genesis of St. Charles just had another record month. Their showroom is absolutely amazing, and so are the deals. You have to go in or call to get their exclusive offers. They even have 0% APR financing on all models through the end of November, like the new 2025 Genesis GV80.
Wow. Well, I'm logging on to genesisofstcharles.com now.
KMOX proudly supports the Musial Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 23rd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
If it's happening in sports, Bernie Nicholas talks about it Tuesday and Thursday on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
This Bernie Nicholas report is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Let us now bring in, as we always talk to him on Tuesdays and Thursdays after the 11:30 news, it is Bernie Nicholas, who is our guy again. What's going on, Bernie?
I'm here looking forward to talking to you both, as always. And I hope everything's going great on the Chris and Amy show.
Everything is fine here. We just talked to the police chief, and he assured me that he would not ever arrest me for anything.
First
So
of
I
all,
feel
he
good.
did not say that, but I
No.
did say, Bernie, with Police Chief Robert Tracy's New York accent. And I said this when he first came in. I said, crime went down just with that accent. I love it.
Yeah.
It means business.
Bernie, you're an East Coast guy. You get it.
When they first hired him, and I did the reading on his background, and I thought he was an impressive resume. And then you're right. The first time we heard him speak, he had me with the voice. That was it. That sealed the deal. That's probably what got him the job, because he, in addition to that stellar background, and I'm not being sarcastic, he really does have a stellar background. But I like to watch police shows a lot. In fact, I'm rewatching Homicide: Life on the Streets, which was a classic in the 1990s. And I love cops with accents. It's just
best.
It just adds a extra layer of toughness to their demeanor.
If I could do Rosetta Stone for the Boston accent, I would do it. I love it. I love the East Coast accent.
You should work on that.
I am so bad.
So Bernie, we know we're now in the post-season award season. Does that sound right? Yeah. So yesterday we got the Rookie of the Year, and in the National League, Paul Skeens, who didn't start the season in Major League Baseball, but he pitched so well when he came in that he ended up winning that award. Any objections there?
No, not at all. In fact, he was just dominant, and he was. I think most of us figured to be a runaway winner. And the second place finisher, Jackson Merrill, the Padres center fielder, I think is very much deserving of that recognition. Then you get to the third place guy, Jackson Chourio, the Chourio, I should say. Sorry, the Milwaukee corner outfielder. And then the fourth place guy was Shota Imanaga, 30-year-old pitcher from Japan, but he is a rookie in the major league, so he's eligible for it. And the only thing that surprised me, Imanaga got 4 third-place votes. The only thing that surprised me, I didn't think Mason Wynn was going to win the Rookie of the Year. I didn't think he was going to finish second. I thought there was a shot that he'd finish third. I am surprised that he did not get a single vote. And I'm talking about a down ballot, at least third-place vote, because it depends on if I can just finish this point up. If you use the Baseball Reference version of wins above replacement, he was the most valuable rookie in the major leagues because of his offense, defense, base running. He was the second highest rated rookie offensively in the majors. He was the top rated rookie in the majors defensively. And he won the Fielding Bible Award, selected as the best shortstop, veteran, rookie, whatever, in the majors. And he led all major league shortstops with 14 defensive runs saved. My point is, this was a loaded rookie class, but Mason Wynn didn't warrant just a little measly third place vote. I find that preposterous, quite frankly.
Yeah, it is. I'm a little surprised by that too, especially when it comes to Gold Glove. I think he should have probably have it. I can't make the argument. I'm not upset that he didn't win Gold Glove, but I thought of all of them, that was the one he had the best chance to win.
Well, I'm a big aficionado of Fielding Bible, which is Sports Info Solutions, because they put together a really esteemed panel, and they study this, and they meet on it. And I actually paid more attention to the Fielding Bible Award than the Gold Glove, because frankly, I just think the fielding people who vote on the Fielding Bible are number one, much more studious and do much more homework, and they're much more knowledgeable just in kind of historical perspective and everything else. I think managers and coaches who vote for it, they're obviously knowledgeable, but I also know how they do those things. And it's kind of like a lot of last minute. Well, what do you think? Hey, Billy, what do you think? Who are you voting for? It's a lot of that stuff. I think it's done kind of like last minute. Well, we got to get this vote in. So anyway, but I thought Mason Wynn, I don't have a problem with him not getting the Gold Glove. And that sounds like a contradiction because, in the one metrics rating system, defensive run save, he was number one at the whole entire position in the majors. But the guy that won it, the Colorado shortstop, really had an excellent season. So my point is, I would have voted for Wynn, but the Colorado shortstop was a worthy winner. So it's not like it was a joke that he won it. He was outstanding as well.
Bernie, switching over to the ice, the only thing I can say is that it is the miracle of youth. Robert Thomas will be back in the lineup tonight. This is ahead of schedule. He fractured his ankle against the he fractured his ankle less than 4 weeks ago. He was going to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. It's been less than 4 weeks, and he's back in the lineup. That's
good.
Great
Yeah,
for the Blues.
That's great to hear. I'm going to have to update something I wrote. I said he'd be back soon. I guess he is going to be back soon.
I mean, it's miracle of youth, right? I mean, I can barely recover from, I don't know, sleeping funny in 4 weeks.
I think, listen, we all knew how good he was, right? How important he was. And winning faceoffs is a big part of it, but he's a great two-way center, and he's really matured and grown into a leader, and he's very conscientious in everything he does. And of course, he's an excellent playmaker. But I think our appreciation of his value to the Blues was enhanced just by the fact that they fell apart without him. In 11 games when he didn't play, they were 3-7-1. They had the worst the worst points percentage in the league when he was out. They only averaged 2.09 goals per game. They scored 3 goals or fewer 10 times in the 11 games, and they only scored 2 or fewer goals 7 times in the 11. I'm having a hard time getting words out this morning. I apologize.
We do it every day.
So and then in 4 of the 11 games they scored 1 goal. So their offense just absolutely fell apart without him. And listen, and I think that winning faceoffs in the offensive zone is a big part of that. Plus, he's a really terrific special teams player. And he's not the only reason why their offense collapsed, but he's clearly, to me, the number one reason. So I would expect their offense, maybe he'll need a game or two to just get feeling good again or whatever, or getting up to speed. But I would expect their offense to get a lift from him. Where they go from there, though, other than I think they'll score more, I don't know. I still don't know how good the Blues are, really.
Blues will host Minnesota. That is going to be tonight. Meanwhile, college football, Mizzou. Well, that was a tough loss to South Carolina over the weekend, and with that, they are officially out of the CFP. There's no way that they can make the college football playoff, but they'll make a bowl game. Any guesses where they might end up?
Oh no, I don't. I apologize. No, I haven't looked at that at all. Because it all depends on how they finish. I mean, listen, I think the 7-3 record they have now is disappointing simply because of how bad they were on the road in the SEC games. Like they gave South Carolina a really, really good run in the second half, and that was a very, very tough loss. But let me tell you something, if I could, about their road games at Texas A&M, Alabama, and South Carolina, specifically the first half. So if you want to be taken seriously as like a really legitimate, really, really good team, you can't no-show in the first half in the toughest games you've had on your schedule. They were outscored by those 3 teams in the first half, 58-6, and they were outgained in the first half yardage by 396 yards. And also, Mizzou did not convert a third down in any of the first halves of those 3 games. So there was a clear separation where, like, they're 7-3, and if they win, they beat Mississippi State and they beat Arkansas, they're going to have a 9-win season. If they win the bowl game, they'll have a 10-win season. And it's really interesting to me because if you think about it, they win 9 or 10 games, that's a heck of a season. It really, truly is. But I was getting Mizzou fans mad at me because I did a video about this. Said, listen, overall, it's a disappointing season, even though I appreciate that the expectations are higher. They were viewed much more favorably nationally. So much more was expected and anticipated from them. Hey, they had a favorable schedule. It was actually one of the easiest schedules in college football among power conference teams. And so the road was paved for them to make the playoff, but they pulled these no-shows on the road against SEC teams. And I'm just saying, in that context of what was possible and what we all believed they were capable of doing, in that context, it was an opportunity missed. But we also have to keep it in historical perspective. I mean, I'm not going to sneer at a Mizzou team that wins 9 or 10 games. That's still a really good season, but it is disappointing in the context of what the expectations and the hopes were. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I think everything you said is perfectly correct, perfectly accurate. One thing I wanted to say or ask you before we let you go here, and we're running up against it, but the news just broke a few moments ago that the Jets have fired their GM Joe Douglas, which means Aaron Rodgers has gotten his coach fired. He's gotten his general manager fired. Why does Aaron Rodgers have so much damn power? He's not any good anymore.
Yeah, you and I are, at least in the St. Louis chapter, I think you and I are officers of the Aaron Rodgers hate society.
He's the worst.
No, I don't understand. Woody Johnson, the owner of Jets, is the Jets is an idiot. First of all, because all you got to do is look at their track record since he took over the franchise. He's an idiot, and he lets Aaron Rodgers basically tell him what to do, and he does it. And I could almost see it if Aaron Rodgers was in peak form. Like, we're talking about the vintage version of Aaron Rodgers. But he's burnt pie, as a Southern football coach used to say. I said, Coach, how was your defense? Ain't stopping many people. And he said, we're burnt pie. and so Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback is burnt pie. And I don't know why Woody Johnson's letting him run the franchise. It's amazing to me.
Guys, come on, man. It's ridiculous. All right. Well, Bernie Miklasz, we love talking to you. We will do it again Thursday after the 11:30 news. Tell us about our friends at Saliga.
It's my pleasure. Saliga Heating and Cooling is an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Top of the line, industry leading. They've been so great in this community since 1927, nearly 100 years of serving generations of St. Louis families. And they do it all, like the residential work, commercial work, all makes and models. In addition to repairs or installing that new American Standard equipment for you if you need it, they also have an excellent maintenance program. The Miklas's are members of that. And it helps you get ready for the winter. Like, they come out before it gets really cold. They check your system, make sure your heating's fine. You won't have any emergencies or surprises. And they do that in the summer as well, before it gets really, really hot. So you should become a Priority Club member, because we are, and I highly recommend it. And the benefits of the preventative maintenance are really, really numerous. It's just, you can find out more, but it gives you peace of mind. That's the other thing. It also can extend your equipment life. One more thing before we go about Saliga Heating and Cooling. Financing options are available. Financing options available, subject to credit approval. If you want to get free quotes, you can call them at 314-481-7333. And if you want to see all of their services at Saliga Heating and Cooling, go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
The American Cancer Society calls upon Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society. Voices of Black Women is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other health conditions impact Black women. Go to voices.cancer.org.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover here for Universal Windows Direct. For every 2 windows you buy, get the next 2 free, and there's no limit, plus 0% financing for 60 months. Call 314-334-2522, and like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos with memories you'd love to share with the family this Christmas? Right now, get exclusive early access to Legacy Box's biggest deal of the year. Digitize your memories for just $9 per tape. That's right, only $9 to preserve and share your precious moments. VHS, VHS-C, Hi8, film reels, and more, saving you over $15 per item. Not to mention, when you digitize your memories now, Legacy Box sends all your memories back on the cloud, so they're easy to access by Christmas, and you can relive them with your family just in time for the holidays. You've heard about Legacy Box all year, but now is the best time to digitize your memories. Hurry, this $9 deal won't last long. Head to legacybox.com/value for early access to our best deal of the year. Don't wait. Secure your digitized memories by Christmas at legacybox.com/value.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold for Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW, a family-owned dealership group that has been around for 50 years as a Toyota dealer and 25 years in O'Fallon, Illinois. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com. I'm Tom Ackerman. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Shigella. And one of the key factors is too many folks got long fingernails. They don't clean under their nails when they're washing their hands. Nasty.
That's right, Dana.
It was Shigella.
It was Shigella that was the thing, the germ or whatever at the restaurant in Fairview
Illinois.
Heights that has been fixed. We were talking about E. coli and food poisoning and all of that earlier in the show.
Everybody's got something. It's insane.
Dana leaving us a voice message on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. That's true. Look, I know a couple of people who have purposely long fingernails, and I always feel like there's no way they're cleaning the inside of their fingernails well.
So I
just don't
I
think
know.
they
I've
are.
I've never had long fingernails, but like when I wash my hands, I always clean my fingernails.
Yeah, you
Like,
have to get in
you
there.
scrub your fingers, right? And then you kind of like get the soap and clean under your fingernails because germs, man. I'm
Yeah.
afraid of germs.
And then if we go to a restaurant or something and then you order, like nachos for the table, I don't want to touch this. I don't want to eat the
Ugh.
nachos where your fingers and your long nails are going.
Disgusting.
Gross.
Hey, I know everyone is, if you're like me, and I guess not everyone is, because I think
Most people are not.
Yeah, I'm bummed that it's dark so early, that it gets dark so early. Like
That's pretty standard.
4:37. Don't get me wrong. I love the evening, but in the summer, if you get home at 6:00, you've got 2 more hours of sunlight. And you're like, wow, the night is young. I can go work out. I can shower, go meet friends for drinks. But in the winter, when the sun goes down at 4:30, I'm like, well, it's 5:00. I may as well go to bed. I have nothing else to do. Like, that's how I feel. Well, in Alaska, it used to be Barrow, Alaska, but now it's Utqiagvik. I don't know how to say it. They changed the name. At any rate, it's 330 miles north of the Arctic Circle. Yesterday, the sun set at 1:27 p.m. local time. 1:27 p.m. local time, and the sun will not rise again until January 22nd.
Yeah.
They're living in polar night. But here's a really interesting fact, because I can't imagine 64 days without a sunrise. But that city in Alaska will experience the same amount of daylight as Miami over the course of an entire year, or any other place on Earth, because every place on Earth experiences the same number of hours of sunlight over 365 days. I didn't know that. And that means on May 11th, the sun will rise and the sun will not set until August 19th. So over the course of a year, this place in Alaska will still get the same amount of sunlight as Miami. It's just that it gets it all at once.
I
did not
think I
know
wouldn't
that.
like that. I did watch it was the Night Country. It was True Detective.
Okay.
The True Detective
Yeah.
Night Country season with Jodie Foster.
Mhm.
It was just the most recent one. And that's where they were. They were, I think, in Alaska. And just they were at that part of the year where it's dark for months.
Ever, yeah.
Or like 2 months. So for us, Amy, we're going to have sunset today at 4:46 with the last light at 5:15. How do you feel about that?
It's kind of sad.
It's fine. That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. Don't forget to leave us a voice message on the Odyssey app. We are going to have Colonel Jeff McCausland at 12:30. We will talk about Ukraine's attack into Russia with U.S.-made weapons. But coming up next, Jimmy Griffin, guitarist for El Monstero, Celebration Day, and Hard Promises, joins the show. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life.
While we celebrate the reversal of Roe versus Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all the fatherhoods first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You can live out your MasterChef dreams when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Diamonds Direct's biggest and most spectacular sale of the year is starting now. For the first time, it's bigger than ever. Take 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, everything to make this holiday sparkle. This weekend, we're decking the halls with an expanded selection and top designers appearances in the store. 20% off now through Sunday. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. Open all weekend. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hi, it's Stacy from Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living, telling you about one of the best offers we've had in the nearly 21 years I've been at Fairwinds. One-bedroom apartments start at $39.95. For all units, we've greatly reduced the residency fee. We are offering a move package of up to $3,500. And moving in, you will not have an increase in 2025. Visit us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
At 12 noon, we have sunny skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. First on KMOX, with 42 days left until the deadline to commit the near $500 million St. Louis received from the American Rescue Plan, the city is finding money it still needs to allocate.
St. Louis City Comptroller Darlene Green confirms to KMOX the discrepancy is around $400,000 and was just discovered.
As we move along and as we continue to reconcile the numbers, we're going to make sure that we get it all correct as we go down the line.
Is there any concern some of that reconciliation can come in the new year when it's too little too late and you realize we got to send this money back because we didn't appropriate the proper amount?
That's always a concern. Nothing is perfect, but I tell you, working together, we can get it done.
Comptroller Green also disputed Aldermanic President Megan Green's Friday statement that once the board passes a bill, the ARPA money is deemed encumbered. The comptroller says her signature is required or else the money will go back to the federal government. She could not guarantee her signature will be applied in time, only saying she was hopeful. In City Hall, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Federal investigators say the nation has to address an increasing public health crisis over traffic deaths. CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes.
The NTSB says the U.S. has the highest motor vehicle death rate of any other developed nation. Traffic deaths are still significantly higher than they were before the COVID-19 pandemic, when experts say some motorists indulged in riskier driving over empty roads.
CBS News has learned that an unauthorized third party got access to depositions of witnesses connected to investigations into Matt Gaetz. Gaetz is the incoming Trump administration pick for Attorney General. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns reports on the Trump team's response.
We've learned that he wants to finish all of these choices for the cabinet, announce them all by next week, by Thanksgiving. So we'll see what he decides there. We're still looking out for who will serve as Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary, and of course, the Secretary of Education. That's a department that Trump had pledged to abolish potentially if he were to become president.
Is the toy on your child's holiday list safe? The nonprofit World Against Toys Causing Harm is out with their worst toys of the year list. Joan Siff is the president.
Unfortunately, the same hazards, small part choking hazards, ingestion hazards, long strings that can be strangulation hazards, sharp edges that can lacerate. We keep finding toys like this.
And she says don't assume a toy is safe just because it comes from a well-known retailer. From the KMOX business desk, home builders pulling back on new construction. Here's Jason Brooks.
The government reported that October housing starts were down more than 3% from the previous month due to a 7% drop in single-family construction. Home building activity usually quiets down heading into the winter, and that was backed up by a decline in permits in October, about 7% below the year-ago pace. New home construction has ramped up over the past 2 years, with builders attempting to fill the large supply vacuum in the housing market.
Home builder sentiment rose for the third straight month in November on expectations of deregulation under the incoming Trump administration and lower interest rates. The Dow from Stifel this hour is down 128 points at 43,260. The S&P 500 up 10 points at 5,904. Let's get a check of the forecast now. It's sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and quite nice this afternoon. High 70. Tonight, clear early, some clouds late, down to 40 in some suburbs, 46 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, sunshine, some clouds, windy and much cooler, high 54. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sunny skies right now, 67 in Florissant, 65 in St. Peters, and 67 downtown at the Arch. Chances are you have a lot of people who depend on you, your family, maybe even employees. Life insurance from Penn Mutual can provide you peace of mind and protect the most important people in your life. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
At KMOX, our focus is you, your go-to station for local news that matters to St. Louis and the region. The Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX, and we welcome in a favorite here at KMOX, a favorite in St. Louis, Jimmy Griffin from El Monstero. 7 dates are coming up in December at the pageant. 3 of them already sold out. I believe the first night is December 19th. Also, the Tom Petty tribute band is playing on November 30th. First of all, Jimmy, it's good to have you with us. How are you doing?
Thank you. And the Tom Petty band is called The Hard Promises.
Yeah, The Hard Promises, November 30th. So that's the first show. And then El Monstero playing 7 days. That's a lot of days at one place.
It's great. By the end of it, we're a very good band.
You'll figure it out by then.
Yeah. Well, there's always the first show is always has a little bit of an our gang, hey guys, let's put on a show, kind of thing. And you don't know if somebody's going to fall out of the roof or if the big inflatable thing is going to run out of air or whatever it is. There's always something that we're always looking at.
How many years in a row now have you done that multi-day? It's like a mini residency at the pageant. How many years in a row have you done that?
I want to say it started going multiple nights in 2006.
Okay.
And it was like 3.
Okay, because that's what I'm trying to think back, and I don't remember not having the El Monstero Christmas residency because it's such a staple in St. Louis.
It is, and it's part of it. There's so many happy accidents that happen in this band. When they started doing it, the idea was, well, people will be home. Well, the other thing that happened is nobody's touring. All the big tours go home the second week of December, so there's nothing going on anyway. And we can have the pageant for 2 weeks, where we don't have to tear that stuff down and somebody else is coming in. So, it's been, and all the people we rent stuff from, the sound companies and light companies, they're not doing anything. So we get all the stuff. It's great.
How much does the pageant feel like home to you? Played there so much.
Yeah. It's, and Pat Hagen over there and the entire staff is so good to us. And they have been for, couple of decades. So, and I go back with Pat to Mississippi Nights, you know, I mean, and that's where most of us met him. So, yeah, it's great. And it's, you know, we have a really set routine. We go to Mi Ranchito, which is right around the corner, that has the best chicken soup in the whole world. We're there at 5:30. We eat chicken soup. I come back to the pageant. I take a shower, get ready to go. And yeah, it's very regimented. It's really fun.
It's so much fun. And you guys are so good, just like world-class musicians. I think it's easy for us to take it for granted that we've got bands like El Monstero, Celebration Day, the Led Zeppelin tribute band, as you mentioned, the Hard Promises, the Tom Petty tribute band. Which one came first? And I also know there was Street Fighting Band, the Rolling Stones tribute band. Which one?
El Monstero was first.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't become a full-time member until 2006.
Okay.
So it started as a side project to the band Stir. Because they were in between records and needed stuff to do. And they started playing they would play the second half of Dark Side of the Moon or something at like Boomers, you know, where they used to play. And it just kind of took off, you know, and they did the full first show at Mississippi Nights in 99. And then it moved over to the pageant when the pageant opened. So that was the first one. And Celebration Day came out of an El Monstero gig. It was the end of the night. I was a guest vocalist for 2 years. I sang Have a Cigar and played guitar on Money. And I was probably overstaying my welcome in the dressing room afterwards for the free booze. And Favaz was talking to John, the drummer, said, hey, you should do, you know, these tribute things. And this is before there were a lot of tribute bands, you know. He's like, you guys should do a Led Zeppelin one. And I'm sitting in the corner and they're talking and John's like, yeah, who did I get to play guitar? And I was like, I'll do it. And
I'm really good.
Yeah, you should get me. And so it kind of started that's where that started. And we began, so that's December. We started working on Celebration Day. His first gig was November of 2006. So we were working on that all summer. And during the course of that summer, the position that I have now became available and they offered it to me. And that's when I joined the band.
When you start a tribute band or you're part of one, do you feel a certain pressure to get it right just in case the real band finds out about it and hears some of it?
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you see, and there's other, you know, there's the Australian guys and think Brit Floyd and stuff like that, who probably do it closer to what Pink Floyd does. We have always been the Midwestern monster truck version of Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
We're like if Pink Floyd saw a Kiss concert before they became Pink Floyd. So, and that's when we do it different. We do it, we have our own twist to it, our own spin. The Tom Petty thing is kind of the same, other than if you look at most Tom Petty tribute bands, it seems that if you put on Lennon specs and a hat and a blonde wig, you're Tom Petty, and they don't sound anything like him, you know. And that's the main thing I'd want is when I see somebody, I want it to at least sonically be in the ballpark.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is you want it because there are so many people who are trying to do it. You want to be different.
Yeah,
you want to do it better, and you want to be different.
Yes,
than the rest of them.
Yeah, and at the same time, you have to maintain the you know, the aesthetics of the catalog, and that's what we try to do the most is and with Pink Floyd, it's giant weird I mean, people forget there's like 4 records in between the Syd Barrett stuff and Dark Side of the Moon. There's 4 records where they were trying to learn how to write songs. And we do a lot of that stuff too. And those are some of my favorite things because they're just weird.
I would say having been to Celebration Day and El Monstero, Street Fighting Band, a lot of these your concerts, I feel like some people forget that you're not actually Pink Floyd.
It's very
they're
easy
like
in a
throwing
tribute
underwear
show.
on the stage.
I
think they forget.
Yeah,
it feels so real.
A really good tribute band.
Yeah.
When they're good like you guys are, it's very easy to get lost.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. You know, people say if I close my eyes, I think it's them. You know, so that's the highest compliment for me.
And I know you're going to play for us, but I also have this question because everyone says that they think their generation of music is the best. And I disagree because I think this generation, like there was something about just the rock that came out of like the 70s and you have like Led Zeppelin, and Pink Floyd. To me, that's the greatest music ever made. And that's not technically my generation, right? Because I was born in
It's a
the
little less
mid-'80s.
polished. And that's what I think.
It's
anyway.
so raw and artistic, and you combine the lyrics with the way they were so innovative with the music. Is it the best ever?
Well,
I feel like it is.
You know what it is? It's there was a devotion and there was an attention span. Like when you got a record, when I was born in the 60s. So when you got a record, you took that record home, you stared at that like now the people you hear music at Schnucks, you know, you're hearing like you'd studied that stuff, you know, you listened to the entire album and you devoured it. And there was no, Pink Floyd didn't have a Facebook page or an Instagram account like that. You got to see them, you went to see them live. And that was, other than magazines, that was pretty much it. That was your interaction with the band. So it all became the music instead of personalities and you know what they had for breakfast and stuff like that. You didn't know any of that stuff, and it was all you focused on the music more.
You know, it's interesting now because, and I don't know how real these stories are, but I know that I have seen young bands on Instagram, musical artists, rock band, or whatever they're doing, and they will try to book shows, or they say they try to book shows. And the places that are booking them will tell them, well, how many Instagram followers do you have? And if you don't have 10,000 or you don't have 15,000, we're not going to book you. Yeah. That's it. It seems like that would be impossible in this environment.
It's a popularity. Like I see, you know, so-and-so, like what was the last one was Smashing Pumpkins looking for a guitar player. And there's probably, you know, a million people that could have done that job that were really fabulous guitar players that look cool and stuff like that. And they wound up picking some, it's not that she's a girl, because there's lots of girls that can play me under the table, you know, but they picked some chick with 90 million Instagram followers, you know, like, and that didn't have anything to do with guitar, I don't think, or who may have fit the band. It was who the most popular person was. And I think that's whenever you get music, and like, it's one of the things I love about music is it's subjective. There's no winners, you know, everybody wins because it's art. You know, it's not how fast you can do something, or you can jump higher than somebody else or something like that. It's it comes down to art, and when art becomes a popularity contest, I think that's when you lose art, you know.
Well, you are wonderful. El Monstero's wonderful. I've not yet seen Hard Promises, and I think that that November 30th show, right after Thanksgiving, that sounds great to me.
If you can make it, I would love to have it.
At the pageant, and then the 7 nights at the end of December, mid-December, starting December 19th. There are 7 shows. You'll be there for 7 nights. It's a lot of time, and 3 of the shows already sold out. All of the tickets for everything available on Ticketmaster. So if you want to go,
the other thing that's great is you go right to the Suite 101. You go to the pageant box office, and you get around all the sales fees and taxes and stuff. Just bring cash. But yeah, you can buy tickets right from human beings.
Awesome. Jimmy Griffin, it's good to see you. You want to play something for us as we say goodbye?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat and at sea. Sail away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, find you a lover. Go away, somewhere all bright and blue. I've seen no other who compares with you. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. You belong with your love on your own. You belong somewhere you feel afraid.
Hey, it's Brady Cook, quarterback at Mizzou, for Macadoodle's Garden Prairie, where wine tastings happen all day and friends are made when the door opens. Macadoodle's has everything from fan-favorite California cabs to interesting wines from the old world, a wide selection of bourbon and tequila, and basically every spirit you can imagine. Whether you need to stock up the liquor cabinet for your next party or you're having a cozy night in with a bottle of wine, Macadoodle's has you covered. The friendliest staff in town. Come visit Macadoodle's on Bryan Road, just north of the Page Extension in St. Charles County.
When can you retire? When should you tap your 401k? Will you have enough money to live on? We all have retirement questions that stress us out. But Steve Aul can help answer those questions and more so that you'll feel confident about the next phase of your life.
My job is to sit down with people and actually figure out what their wishes, hopes, and dreams are. It's about a standard of living, not an amount of money. It's how they want to live in retirement.
Join Steve every Saturday morning at 10 for the All Financial Hour, right here on KMOX.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos with memories you'd love to share with the family this Christmas? Right now, get exclusive early access to Legacy Box's biggest deal of the year. Digitize your memories for just $9 per tape. That's right, only $9 to preserve and share your precious moments. VHS, VHS-C, Hi8, film reels, and more, saving you over $15 per item. Not to mention, when you digitize your memories now, Legacy Box sends all your memories back on the cloud, so they're easy to access by Christmas, and you can relive them with your family just in time for the holidays. You've heard about Legacy Box all year, but now is the best time to digitize your memories. Hurry, this $9 deal won't last long. Head to legacybox.com/value for early access to our best deal of the year. Don't wait. Secure your digitized memories by Christmas at legacybox.com/value.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
It's warm now, but winter will be here before you know it. That's why Banner Construction is having their pre-winter window event. Choose from Banner's various energy-efficient brands and window price points featuring beautiful Pella windows. Banner is a certified Pella contractor and preferred James Hardie specialist. If you've been considering new windows or a fresh new exterior for your home, see Banner's work at bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
Paid for by government. Now is the time to fill your vault with Morgan Silver Bars. Grab your piece of America's silver legacy with this special offer. These spectacular shining silver bars featuring a crisp image of the iconic Morgan silver dollar, a legendary coin that has captivated collectors for generations. Americans treasure owning silver bars and coins, putting them away for themselves and their loved ones. Call now to secure 1-ounce silver bars minted in 99.9% pure silver and made in the USA. You'll be glad you did. Hurry, don't miss out on this special deal. Save $10 per silver bar. The more you buy, the more you save. Limit of 25 bars per customer. Call to learn more. Plus, with qualifying orders, you'll receive a free Morgan silver dollar. That's a $59.95 value and free shipping. Call 1-800-222-3967 now to secure your 1-ounce Morgan silver dollar bars. That's 1-800-222-3967.
KMOX, your go-to for family-friendly discussions of topics that matter to you. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Snow. Snow.
Snow.
Snow. Snow. It won't be long before we'll all be there.
Guess what?
Dumbest part of the movie.
No, it's not. Come on.
Absolute stupidest part of the whole movie.
314-436-7900 to text in and tell Ranj how absolutely wrong he is.
Is that still rolling?
He's a dunce.
The song. Let it go back up for a little bit because I want you to hear how stupid this song is.
I love it.
Snow, I long to clear a path and lift a spade of snow.
Okay, that makes sense. Is this the part that doesn't?
To see a great big man entirely made of snow.
Okay, that makes sense. Where's a lady talking about washing her hair in it? Where's that lady? Is that coming up?
Snowball throwing, that's what I'll do.
Here it is. That was it.
I want to wash my hands, my face, and hair with snow.
What does that even mean? You can't wash anything with ice.
It melts. You put the snow on your head, the heat from your head melts the snow. Listen,
okay.
I will not have you besmirch the greatest movie ever written, ever.
I'd be smirching
performed.
all day over this.
You
This is
better
just,
not
I
smirch.
hate it.
You cannot be smirching.
That train scene, as soon as it comes on,
No.
I fast forward through it.
This is what's wrong with America.
No, this is not what's wrong with America.
Yeah, you.
I'm taking a stand against that song. That scene is so bad. So
No,
for
it's
people
not.
who don't know what we're talking about, and I imagine our audience does, that is from White Christmas.
with Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney,
Yeah.
aunt of George Clooney, Vera Ellen, and Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye. Yes. And it is
Incredible singing and dancing.
It's nostalgic, and your parents probably
That
watched it if you
train.
didn't watch it.
The club car. It was the
Yeah.
club car.
Yeah.
They had to sit all night in the club car because they
But-
couldn't find their tickets.
But that part
They left
is
them in their
so dumb.
snood.
So dumb.
Okay, first
And
of
I
all,
love the rest of the movie.
okay, he's so wrong. At any rate, this was a perfect song because they were on a train talking about snow. Listen to this headline. Winter storms forecast to hit much of U.S. as Americans gear up for Thanksgiving travel. High winds, heavy rain, and snowfall expected to impact millions of people across the country.
No way it's going to affect us, though. It won't dip below 50 degrees all winter, probably.
Well, I know we're going to be in the 40s later this week. All you have to do is survive today. The temperature drops tomorrow. We've got a high of like 43 on Thursday. It's glorious. I already know
Wow.
what I'm going to wear.
What, you've planned ahead?
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm going to wear tights and a skirt and a turtleneck and a sweater and a scarf and coats and boots.
Okay.
I'm so excited about the 43-degree weather. But at any rate, there are going to be multiple storm systems that are going to batter the U.S. from coast to coast, really.
I feel I should pass this along. Our friend Trish Gazal has texted,
Yep.
and she says I'm right about that song.
No, Trish doesn't count.
What, she doesn't count?
Trish, you know you're a curmudgeon. Trish,
She's not a curmudgeon.
you know that you and Ranji
Well,
are
she fol-
soulmates.
She follows it up with, she says, "You're right about that song," talking about me, but then follows it up with, "Even though it pains me to agree with you." That's not very nice.
Well, I feel hurt.
Well, it's a stupid song.
It's not.
It's a stupid scene.
You know what
I
scene
could do
I always
without it.
thought kind of felt a little out of place in White Christmas was the real weird what is it not postmodern but just like this really artistic song choreography.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Chaps.
It's pink.
Don't
the
do
background's
taps,
pink,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
They're not dancing anymore. They're doing choreography, and it was real weird.
I have
That
a friend
scene doesn't fit in.
I have a friend who insists that any show or movie where they add a song, and that's a little different because it's supposed to be kind of a musical.
Well, they're basically Rodgers and Hammerstein, so
Yeah.
it's a musical within a musical.
Right. So, but his contention is any other time you're watching a show and they add a song, like Family Guy
Yeah.
does it, for example, where they
Mhm.
add songs, and he says they just couldn't think of any jokes, so they want to kill 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And they write some dumb song.
Well, I will say in Singing in the Rain, I love that movie with Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds and that guy that does the flip on the wall. I'm blanking. At any rate, he's a great dancer. There's one scene in that movie that they're on a set that's closed for the night, a movie set, and they have this really
Night at the Museum.
long, boring,
No.
song scene in Singing in the Rain. I feel like a lot of old movies always threw in one weird song, but that's not Snow. White Christmas is perfection. Even the song choreography, which is avant-garde, that's what I was trying to think of.
And I will always point out my favorite part of the entire movie is when they're in the
beginning.
I think they're on the Eastern Front, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are right there deep
Front lines,
World War II, and Bing Crosby's wearing brown spit-shined Oxfords. He's got brown dress shoes in the middle of a war zone, and no one's thinking anything of it. It's like he rolled up the set and he's like, these are the shoes I have.
What did
we're
you say?
filming
Like mirror polished or whatever
mirror
it's called?
polished.
Yeah, mirror polished shoes.
Oh,
How did
and
he
they
keep
look-
them so clean?
Hell, I don't know. But I love the thought of Bing Crosby showing up to set, and those are the shoes he had. And he said, that's what I'm wearing.
They're like, but Bing, you're on the front lines.
I'm wearing these. I'm sorry.
Here it is. Here's the song he sang.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Just like
Is this
the
now?
one-
Also, hear the bombs in the background.
I know the bombs are in the background. He's got his Oxfords going.
Bombs in the background.
Is now the time that I should let everybody know we have Colonel Jeff McCausland coming up? Because he is. Colonel Jeff McCausland joins us next on KMOX.
Sleigh bells in the snow.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
'Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. Find the best deals on the Hardee's app. Items available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At 12:30, we have sunny skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Here's what we're following. As you've heard first on KMOX, the amount of ARPA dollars the city needs to reallocate or send back to the federal government has been recalculated with just weeks to spare.
The discrepancy sits around $400,000, Comptroller Darlene Green confirmed to KMOX, adding it was only just discovered. Comptroller Green also says her signature is required for funds to be deemed encumbered, disputing Aldermanic President Megan Green's previous statements. That money would need your signature on those bills by December 31st?
On those contracts, you're absolutely correct.
Comptroller Green says she is hopeful she can affix her signature in time. I asked her about her choice of words. Keep saying hopefully it'll be done, but you can't guarantee it will be done.
There is no guarantee in life. But what we want to do is make sure that we guarantee that we're working towards the process to get everything done.
Green says she still needs to sign on to over $80 million worth of funding, or it risks being sent back to the federal government. In St. Louis City Hall, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Mostly sunny, breezy, pleasant today. We're expecting a high near 70. And then tonight we could have some clouds late with overnight lows around 40. Right now, sunny, 67 downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills. Jewels on Hampton pays some of the highest prices for your diamonds, semi-precious colored gems, gold, coins, precious metals, collectibles, sports memorabilia, and more. Shop Jewels on Hampton for the perfect gift. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis Hills.
St. Louis City SC and Enterprise Mobility are celebrating individuals who uplift the region.
Nominate a deserving person to be the 2025 Enterprise Exceptional Neighbor. Honorees will receive 4 tickets to a St. Louis City SC home match next season, and their work will be featured during the match. Nominations close November 30th. So visit stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor to nominate a friend, coworker, or neighbor who is doing incredible work in our community.
This holiday season, the Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for their holiday food drive while supplies last. Stop by any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS holiday bumper sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details now about the campaign, or if you want to make an online donation, head to the KMOX.com events page now.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. This month we are focusing on prostate cancer, and joining me is Dr. Vikas Prasad.
A treatment plan for you is very much dependent upon the stage in which your disease is diagnosed. So you really have to speak to your urologist or your oncologist to see whether the disease is primarily localized in the prostate.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Yo, 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 Dad is in the house. What do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday. Get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN is rated as outstanding on PC Mag. Just visit NordVPN.com and discover the benefits of this all-around cybersecurity tool. It will encrypt your online traffic. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. So improve your digital privacy and protection with one simple click. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Friday night, it's men's Billikens basketball action as they face Wichita State. Pregame 9:15, tip at 9:30 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX. And recently, well, within the last 24 hours, Ukraine has, it took a while, but they finally did start to use some of the United States-made long-range weapons and fired them into Russia, something that was, well, the United States didn't want it to happen for so long, and Ukraine avoided doing so for so long, but it has finally happened. And to talk about what the implications are of that and what happens next, we talked to CBS military analyst and Colonel Jeff McCausland, retired, is with us now on KMOX, a regular contributor here to KMOX. He's on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Colonel, it's good to talk to you. How are you doing?
Chris, I'm doing well and hope you are likewise.
Yeah, we're doing great here. So first of all, explain exactly for us lay people what Ukraine used, what they fired into Russia, where they fired it, and then we could talk about what it means after that.
Okay, they employed an American-made ATACMS missile, which has a range of about 190 miles. And the United States provided this ATACMS missile to them several months ago. And they had employed it in the past, but they had employed it on targets in Crimea, in particular, against Russian targets there. Now, it's kind of unusual in a way. That's actually, according to Russians, Russian territory, but now they're more upset because Ukraine now has employed it, as you mentioned at the top, against an area around Kursk, which is a salient of Russian territory. It's Russian territory when this war began, that the Ukrainians occupied in August. This particular weapon has 2 warheads. One's a high explosive warhead. One actually delivers several hundred bomblets. In addition to the United States providing the ATACMS missile, Britain and France had provided similar missile systems to Ukraine, one called Storm Shadow, one called Scout. But the Biden administration had insisted that Ukraine not use this weapon on the territory of the Russian Federation prior to the onset of hostilities. And the Ukrainians had been, doing that, if you will, with those kind of restrictions. At the same time, of course, President Zelensky has been arguing and urging for months for permission to actually strike targets in and around Kursk and other parts of the Russian Federation.
Colonel McCausland, on Sunday, President Joe Biden did give permission to Ukraine to use those U.S.-made long-range missiles in Russian territory. Why now?
I think a number of reasons why now. Let's be honest. It's after the election. In the month prior to the election, Mr. Biden was not going to do that because it would be certainly perceived as it is, as escalatory, and might affect the election, number one. Number two is the Russians have escalated as well, and they have now introduced North Korean troops on the battlefield. As many as 12,000 North Koreans are now in the western portion of Russia, many of them positioned to be part of a counteroffensive involving Russian troops and North Korean troops to try to, again, push the Ukrainians out of this so-called Kursk salient. And obviously that's a very escalatory step. So in response to that, you might say the West is also escalating with the decision to allow Ukrainians to employ the ATACMS at its maximum range, hit targets in that particular region, which might include logistical sites, ammunition, or mass troops that are part and parcel of this effort to push the Ukrainians out of the Kursk region.
I know that the concern this entire time, particular from the United States, is they did not want to escalate. You mentioned that word already. The fear of Russia using nuclear weapons that they have, and Putin has lowered the threshold for which he would decide to use them, allegedly. But how real was that danger ever? It only, to me, it seems, from a person who's not an expert in this, it seems like that was more bluster than anything else.
Well, it was always a concern. I mean, the Russians have an enormous nuclear arsenal, not only strategic but tactical weapons. And in the fall of 2022, when things were really going pretty poorly for the Russians, there was a strong belief that they might be moved towards using a tactical nuclear weapon against Ukraine, against a city, or against a mass troop formation in an effort to get their offensive back on track. So that's always been a concern. And every time we've seen the Biden administration provide new military hardware, whether that was the M1 tank, whether that was the HIMARS rocket system, whether that was the ATACMS, whether that was the F-16, and similar systems by other NATO partners, there's always been concern that this would cause escalation and the Russians would respond in kind. That being said, and you're right, Mr. Putin has, rattled his nuclear saber on multiple occasions, but obviously has not escalated to that point. What he has done is really, I would call, he has redefined the doctrine for the use of nuclear weapons by Russia to include, obviously, if the state was near destruction, number one. Number two, if it had been hit by a nuclear weapon by an opponent. And now he's added number three, if it's attacked, its soil is attacked by a non-nuclear state. Ukraine obviously is not, supported by a nuclear state. So he's really saying this is now possible. Do I think he'll move in that direction? Quite frankly, I do not, at least in the short term. I think this is an effort to intimidate. And I also think he's doing it in part for domestic political consumption, back to this cursed area they've occupied. Ukrainians occupied that in August. Mr. Putin immediately said, we're going to push them out, we're going to push them out. Well, it's November, and that hasn't happened. So I think that he's probably responding to some current concerns at home about how that's going.
It's been, I think today is exactly 1,000 days since Russia invaded Ukraine. And as you mentioned, the conflict is escalating. How does this end? If there's a negotiation, if it's a total defeat of Putin, because at this point, how does he save face?
Yeah, I mean, I think for him, this has become existential. Don't forget the war began with Russian officers 1,000 days ago being told to make sure and pack their dress uniforms because they need those for the victory parade that was going to happen in a couple of days. Well, obviously, that didn't work out too well. Now, Mr. Putin has devoted upwards of 600,000 Russian casualties in Ukraine, probably over 100,000 or more dead, countless destruction of military equipment. We're seeing strains on the Russian economy. Interest rates in Russia now are 20%. inflation is 9% reported. Some think it may be twice that high. So they're starting to have some degree of problems. So Mr. Putin has insisted that his stance is always the same. We'll negotiate when you cede this territory, when you neutralize the government in Kiev, and when NATO and Kiev, Ukraine, announces that they will never join NATO. And he's stuck by that. And I think that if he to back down off that, it might end up being existential for him from home. And now with the election of Mr. Trump, he has talked about negotiations, has talked about ending the war. He may believe, if I can just hang in there another couple of months, if I can threaten a bit more, that I finally will in fact succeed.
We are visiting with Jeff McCausland, retired Army colonel, with us here on KMOX. You can hear him quite regularly, actually, here on KMOX. And there was a Gallup poll that was released today after they surveyed Ukrainians on their thoughts on the war. And if you go back to 2022, over 70% of Ukrainians said they should continue fighting until they win the war. Now, 2 years later, that number, at least according to Gallup, is down to 38%. So that is a pretty big drop. War fatigue, I'm sure, is a huge part of this, if not the biggest part. But so what does that mean? What does that number mean, especially when you look at what happens moving forward?
Right, and that's exactly war fatigue is there. And one could say the Ukrainians might persist. The ones I talked to, I think, would be willing to persist. But as they lose territory, as they worry about continued military assistance from the United States and the West, more and more people will say we need to find a solution because people are dying and ultimately this may not work. So I think we're moving more and more towards some kind of an acceptance of a negotiation, quite frankly. Mr. Trump, again, has talked about it a lot. By what Mr. Biden is doing now, I think one of the goals is at least to position Ukraine in the best possible position for those negotiations, perhaps still retaining some Russian territory, which might be part of those negotiations. And that certainly seems where this is all moving at this particular moment. That being said, I don't see this war coming to conclusion anytime immediately. I mean, these missiles that we're letting them use will not be a game changer. But I think as we get into the spring, I think Mr. Zelensky himself has said the war needs to end in 2025, and he has now admitted that publicly.
Colonel McCausland, what do we know about North Korea's involvement in this conflict?
Well, this is one of the interesting things is, as this war has gone on, the Russians have found themselves almost doubling their defense budget from about $85 billion a year to about $145 billion a year. They're becoming more and more reliant on Iran for weapon systems, on technology from China, and now ammunition and even troops from North Korea. And that suggests two things. One, as Mr. Putin suffers 1,500 killed or injured every single day, he's got to recruit 30,000 guys a month just to keep his troop strength up. He is having an increasing problem to do that. How am I going to solve that problem? Oh, how about North Koreans? That is kind of an admission, I think, of things aren't going all that well. Number two, actually, this reverberates more broadly and reverberates globally because more and more there's comments by South Korean leaders, Japanese leaders, of their concerns that obviously there's a price Putin is paying for 12,000 North Koreans and millions of rounds of artillery arriving in Russia. And they fear that price to be paid by Putin will be assistance with North Korea on its nuclear programs, on improving its long-range missile systems, on improving its air defense and ballistic missile defense systems. And that's causing widespread concern now in Asia. And actually more and more people in South Korea are saying, we need to get our own nuclear weapons, simply deter the threat that North Korea poses to us. So in another way, this war is expanding in a geographic sense, even beyond the confines of Central Europe.
As we get deeper into this, and we're talking about a couple of years now, this has been going on, does a resolution seem any clearer now than it did when it first started?
It certainly might. I think the broad parameters are there, and that is some kind of, frankly, territorial concession by the Ukrainians. What that will look like, is anyone's guess, number one. Number two will be, I think, some effort on the part of the Ukrainians to extract security guarantee from the West or Western countries. That will not be perhaps admission to NATO, but some bilateral assurance that the Russians if the Russians attack again, that they'll be supported, I think is the broad outline of what we're talking about. The real question, I think, for the Trump administration, because it's going to be handled by soon-to-be inaugurated President Trump, is are you going to negotiate over the heads of the Ukrainians, or are you going to want Ukrainian to be part and parcel of that negotiation? I think it'd be very difficult to negotiate over the Ukrainians' heads and just kind of present them with a fait accompli. And second of all, I believe that Mr. Trump himself will be concerned on how this might turn out. Yeah, he says he can end it in one day, but he doesn't want to see an American surrender. He doesn't want to see Putin triumph publicly. It wouldn't be, I think, in his best interest that at the onset of his administration, he kind of recreates, you might say, the American withdrawal from Afghanistan, which he so vociferously has criticized the Biden administration for, and occurred within the first 8 months or so of that administration.
Colonel Jeff McCausland, as always, we really do appreciate you giving us the knowledge, information we otherwise would not have. And this conflict has been just so complicated, and it has been going on for so much time. And we appreciate every time you jump on with us.
Always a pleasure, you guys.
Colonel Jeff McCausland with us, a CBS military analyst, an expert. He is fantastic, and we appreciate him every time. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community. This month, we recognize Kwame Charitable Foundation, an organization known for increasing the educational landscape for students. Kwame Charitable Foundation exists to provide the resources and experiences that enable bright, motivated scholars to thrive and reach their full potential. They work to provide more hopeful futures. Find out more about them at kwamecharitable.org. That's KWAME charitable.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. Kwame Charitable Foundation and Busey believe all public school students should have the opportunity to advance to their full potential. The foundation provides more hopeful futures with college exposure and endowed scholarships for worthy students who, in turn, will make our community even stronger. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
If you're looking to get a jump on the holidays and get yourself into a little bit better shape, get out to Supplement Superstores and ask them about the 213 Flashpoint Complex. While you're there, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll give you 20% off the 213 Flashpoint Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
This is Bernie Miklas. If you'd like to build a home, consider Fisher & Fritchel, a local family-owned company that receives numerous awards for its legendary quality and exceptional customer service. In 2024, they received the Torch Award from the Better Business Bureau and were voted Best Residential Builder by readers of the Post-Dispatch. They're currently building stunning homes and detached villas in Cottleville, Forestell, Lake St. Louis, O'Fallon, and St. Peters, or they can build a home on your land. For details, visit fnfhomes.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Have I got a knockout deal for you? Go to STLGunsandHoses.com to get tickets for the biggest party of the year at Enterprise Center the night before Thanksgiving and help the families of our fallen first responders. Be there for the 37th Budweiser Guns and Hoses presented by Stiefel. Join us for an unforgettable night of boxing, MMA, and entertainment, including country legend George Strait's musical tribute to first responders. Come join the party Thanksgiving Eve.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. He joins Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brasati, and Royer as the Doctors' Doctors. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW. I am so confident that my team will take care of every one of your service and sales needs. I'll give you my cell phone, 618-791-5470. Newbold Toyota or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
I'm Sean Malone. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Text message to 314-436-7900. One says, we just interviewed Jimmy Griffin. He was with us earlier in the hour. But this message says, Jimmy Griffin is not just a good guitar player. He's an extremely good artist. And I only sit on the Jimmy side. We will be there on the 30th at the pageant.
That's awesome. The Jimmy side.
Yeah, if you want tickets to see Hard Promises on the 30th of this month at the pageant, or the 7 dates, and 3 of them are already sold out, so you're probably going to want to get on tickets for El Monstero starting on December 19th, Ticketmaster.com if you want to get in. Jimmy is pretty great. He's really great, and a great interview, too. This one says, don't forget that Major Glenn Miller, presumed to have crashed in the English Channel on his way to Paris, was never found.
Yeah, so have you ever seen the movie The Glenn Miller Story?
I have not.
James Stewart, and I'm forgetting her name. This is really upsetting to me, but it's a James Stewart movie, and it is so good. And since you just said the end, I won't ruin it, but it is so sad. June Allison plays his wife, but it is such a good movie because it shows you the story behind some of his most famous songs, like Little Brown Jug and String of Pearls and Moonlight Serenade.
That's the only one I can.
Oh my gosh!
Well, I'm sure if you played the other ones, I would know. But that's the one that I knew.
Pardon me, boys.
Yeah.
Is it the Chattanooga Choo Choo? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh,
it's
In the
so
Mood.
Good.
Yes, I forgot
In
about
the
that
Mood.
one.
Oh my gosh, it's such a good movie. But at the end, because it's Christmas, and she's like listening to the radio, and he died in
Amy.
a plane crash. It's really sad.
But
it's such a good movie. You should watch that.
I will. Tomorrow, guess what it is? You know what tomorrow is?
I do.
Tell me.
It's KMOX Day.
It is
It's
KMOX Day.
11/20.
Tomorrow is November 20th, which means it is 11/20, and we will, on our 99th birthday, well, I guess it's not technically our 99th. We're getting close to it. But we'll celebrate 11/20 Day tomorrow. You can go ahead and send us a voice message. Tell us what KMOX means to you, or if you've got a memory or something you would like to share on the Odyssey app. Download the app where you can listen to the show, you can listen to the podcasts, and there's a little microphone button that says leave a message. You can record one and send it to us. Tell us what you how you feel, because it's kind of a birthday for us.
I want to hear what people think, because radio is personal. Radio is I think the most intimate form of media, because it's like you're in your car and it's just you and
That's right.
Tom Ackerman telling you the sports, or just you and Michael Calhoun giving you the news. Like it's so personal. I feel like I was a fan of KMOX before I was on KMOX.
Of course.
And so I feel like I grew up with all of these people.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, our official birthday is Christmas Eve. So we will turn, well, not we, this station will turn 99 this Christmas Eve, which means next year is our 100-year anniversary.
And it is going to be
100.
A bang up time. It's going to be great.
Think about that, man. 100 years this station has been around. It's pretty cool.
So anyway, we want to hear from you.
Yep.
Oh,
Leave
Glenn
us
Miller.
a voice message on the Odyssey app. Download the app. Leave us a message. Listen to the show. Listen to the podcast. If you missed anything, our interviews with Chief Robert Tracy of the St. Louis Police Department, Bernie Miklas, Jimmy Griffin, Jeff McCausland, retired colonel. All of it is there for you. We are going to come back tomorrow on 11:20 day. We'll be waiting for you right here when you get here. It is Amy Marks-Kors and Chris Ranji. Coming up next, Dave Glover. We're going to hang out for an hour right here on KMOX.